What's cracking? What's cracking? Peaceful protest, man. Live from the peaceful protest, man. Live and direct from the peaceful protest. Shout out to my man. Shout out to my man Nate, man. Nate. He said further action is required. Oh, salute to him, man. Um, man, Nate Ways, man. Shout out to the homie Nate Ways, man. Shout out to the homie Nate Ways, man. AKA Ricky Henderson. Getting the ball rolling. Salute, man. Live and direct from the peaceful protest, man. It's cracking with these peaceful protests, though. I give them that, man. These some cracking peaceful protests. Yeah. Salute to my man, ass freak. A lot of Mexican flags out there, man. A lot of Mexican flags, man. How long they gonna put up with this shit, man? This is ridiculous, man. All this is doing is emboldening them. All this is doing is giving the protest energy, and it's gonna pick up steam and more people. They playing, man. Trump playing, man. Trump relying on California to deal with this. California not gonna deal with this. California, people trying to get elected, man. The California politicians need these people to get elected. You can't get elected in California. All these people can vote. Even though they're illegal, they still can vote in California. So you can't trust the California politicians with this situation. Federal government got to handle it. They got fucking horses. Like it's fucking 1900 or something. Got a bunch of fucking horses. As Freak says, you should do a poll on who's more entitled, Sons or Breedos. I think it's too early for that. I think people know that Sons. Well, hold on. Well, you know what? Because, 'cause, 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 but we'll see, man. We can see how many. We can see how many. We can see how many. Um, how many votes the. We can see how many votes the. Yeah, we can test it out. We see how many votes the Hombritos get. I feel like Sun's gonna win in a landslide. Uh, baby, everything is all right. Uptight, out of sight. Yeah, baby, everything is all right. Uptight. Yeah, man. Oh, in this joint, man. We are in the building. I just want to know how long this is going to go on. And it's going to go on as long as they let it. And the longer it goes on, the bigger it's going to get. And then we're going to have fucking 2020 all over again. And everybody going to be looking stupid. Like, what happened? What? Um, this is not what we voted for. This is not what we. I listen. I'm telling you right now. This is not what I voted for. I didn't vote for this shit, man. I thought the president was gonna take care of this shit, handle this shit. I know he's going through something with his boyfriend right now, but I thought the president was gonna handle this shit with an iron fist, man. Huh? Hey, man. Everything is all right. That damn song got stuck in my head, man. That fast. God damn, man. Peaceful protest. Peaceful. It's kind of like when Muslim people say Islam is the religion of peace. Like the same thing and shit. The religion of peace. We blow you to pieces. The religion of we'll blow you to pieces. Islam is the religion that will blow you to pieces. That's what. And listen. This is a peaceful protest. This is peaceful. Imagine. Wait till they get started. I'm telling y'all. Listen. I'm telling, and I'm sure y'all know. The longer the federal government waits to handle this shit, because California is not going to handle this. Maxine Waters and Gavin Newsom ain't doing shit about this. Trump gonna have to do it, man. The federal government, they gonna have to do it, man. They got to crack down, man. They letting this shit go on and on. They letting this shit they letting this shit. They gonna start making martyrs. See what's gonna happen is somebody gonna get killed or something gonna happen and somebody will get arrested and they're gonna turn people. They're gonna turn somebody into a martyr. And you just gotta stamp it out. And then what's gonna happen is images and more images of like somebody gonna get arrested and like they gonna fall down or something. They gonna say the ICE agent threw them down or some shit gonna happen. Or somebody gonna get a cut and they just gonna let it bleed. They not gonna try to wipe it off. They just gonna let the shit bleed. They'll be walking around with the shit just bleeding like. And the Time magazine gonna take a picture and they gonna put it on the cover. It's gonna be a lot of propaganda. The longer, and you just gotta nip it in the bud, man. Salute to everybody out there, man. Shout out to everybody out there. Yeah, millions in damage and destruction. D from Boston says, salute to you, Ak and Ak Nation. And these motherfuckers on horses. You can tell they're not serious. They're on fucking horses. They ride around on horses and shit. Like, seriously, what the fuck, man? They might as well have muskets and shit. And little curly mustaches. All the cops need to get little curly mustaches and shit and twist them up at the end and shit. Yeah, they were fucking horses. And black folk itching to get in this shit. Black folk just ain't found the right age. Yo, black folk ain't found the right angle yet, man. Black folk is itching to get involved with this shit because we looking at this shit and we look like this some good victimhood. We can't stand to see somebody else be the victim. I'm telling you, man. Black folk can't stand to see somebody else be the victim. They just looking for the right angle. They ain't found no angle yet to co-opt this shit. Black folk gonna try to co-opt this shit. Just like they co-opt black fatigue. They couldn't even let the white people be victims of black fatigue, man. They had to take that shit. Black folk can't let nobody be a victim. Watch. Black folk gonna try to co-opt this shit, man. Yeah, get him out of here. Oh, he fell down. He tried to make it look like they slammed him. He fell down. Motherfucker, you fell down, you little runt. Oh, you know they gonna say they the Mexicans. Oh, you better believe niggas gonna say they the Mexicans. They the original Mexicans. You better believe that. You had better believe that. Niggas gonna say they the original Mexicans. And like 3, 2, 1. Like seriously, Jack. Without a doubt, man. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Elon tweeted. Elon just tweeted. We gonna get back to this. Elon just tweeted, y'all. Uh-oh, they throwing smoke bombs and shit at the peaceful protesters. Oh man. Elon just tweeted, man, about this, man. They saying the people uh um literally Elon, man. I can't believe Elon just tweeted about this, man. Um let's see what he tweeted, man. We're gonna check it on Elon tweet. We're gonna come right back to this, man. We're gonna come right back to this. We're gonna check on Elon's tweet, man. And then we coming right back to this. Um Elon tweeted, "This is not okay. This is not okay." This dude, this dude is out here fighting not to get sent back to Mexico. If you send him back to the country, that country where he got that flag of, he will fight you to not go there. This dude will wage war. He's waging war not to have to go back to his beloved country. Yo, shout out to Verdant Glider, man. Remember for 18 months. Yeah, Elon is bipolar. This is not okay. Yeah, Elon, no shit. And the shit you did this week wasn't okay either. Press one. Oh man. Los Angeles Riots 2025. Jesus Christ. Jeez. Oh man. Salute, man. Salute to everybody, man. We're gonna get back to the feed, man. We will get back to the feed, man, the live feed, man. We're back to the live feed, man. As the sun goes down in LA. Look at all these backup cars they got. They got two fronts. One front here, one front here. Yeah, man. Let me bring you guys up, man. Let me bring you guys up, man. Shout out to Verdant Glider, man. He says like the new background. Yeah, man. I had to switch up the bricks, man, from red bricks to cinder blocks, man. I'm glad you like what I've done with. You like what I've done with the house, man. You like the interior decorator, man. I went and did some interior decorating, man. Let me drop this link, man. Let's see, man. Let's see, man. Shout out to everybody out there, man. Everybody out there in the chat, man. If you want to come up, man, they go to StreamYard. Like if you watching on X and you want to come up, man, that's the link, man. The link is right there, man. Put the link in the description box, man. Shout out to everybody out there, man, watching, man. Wherever you watching from, man. Wherever you watching from. Make sure you take the poll, man. Take the poll, man. Yeah, man. Shout out to Irish Goon, man. We got, let me see. Let me see. We got S Freak in the building, man.
Hello, Doc.
What's cracking, man?
Doing?
What's cracking? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We got a fucking echo in this bitch. Salute to Irish Goon, man. Irish Goon says, you the man. But seriously, who's more dumber, Sons or Burritos? Right now, it seems like equal on the IQ scale. All hail gliders. I don't think doing burritos is dumb. They doing this shit because they getting kicked out of the country. Sons did it because a crackhead overdosed in police custody.
Yeah, I mean, I think I asked the wrong question. I should have had you ask. Do you think burritos just as much, if not more, entitled? I don't know, but think about it. Like you guys
Look
come
at
to
the
this
poll,
country.
man. The poll is up, man. Did you take the poll?
Yeah, I took the poll.
What do they say?
It says mostly sons. That's what they say.
Told you. It's too early, man. This hasn't. This the Burritos still like people. They gotta catch up to Sons, man.
But I think they're on that. They've been on that trajectory for years. Like they want Spanish to be like we have to press two to speak Spanish. Like like they want to play the race card when they were the ones who came to this country illegally. They risked their lives to come to this country illegally for the most part, and they want to cry racism. Like if this country is so bad, then why did you come here? They're
Okay,
they're
let me
trying to
ask
play
you this. Let
they're
me
trying to
ask
play
you
the same
this.
game that Suns are trying to play. But at least Suns, as bad as they are, you can kind of see where they're coming from.
Let me ask you this. And I don't know what your answer is going to be. Don't try to make me happy. Don't answer the way you think I should answer. You should answer, or you think I would like you to answer. Okay.
I got you.
If there was two houses on the market, right? You were trying to get a house. It was one house in an Ombrito neighborhood and one house in a black neighborhood, and they the same price, same everything. And you got to hurry up and buy. It's a competitive market, but the realtor said you the inside bid on both houses. You got to move today. Move on it today. We got to fill out the paperwork today, or you're gonna lose out. Um, which house you gonna move into? The house in the Ombrito neighborhood or the house in the black neighborhood?
Burrito.
Burrito.
Wow, I'm offended, man. I thought you guys don't want to live next to me, man. It's fucked up, man.
Well, no, you said random folks, not you.
I mean,
You sensitive son of a you sensitive motherfucker.
ideally you'd want to live in a glider neighborhood, but that's what I'm trying to say. But
Nah, that's not on the table. That's not on the.
I I know that, but I'm saying ideally.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm saying what I'm saying is like,
That's how we live next to Ock.
yeah,
We're
exactly.
stuck buying a house in the Beaner neighborhood or the black neighborhood.
Yeah. If you listen, my shit is changing though. My shit getting sunny. A kid just got hit with a 4-wheeler today down the street. Shit like that
Right.
never happened before.
Time to move.
Yeah, it's skid marks. The streets all lit like the streets were just pristine. Now skid marks in the streets, like big 4-wheeler skid mark, like they spinning out, and you hear the revving of 4-wheelers all the time and dirt bikes and shit. And I know Fourth of July is coming up, so I know the fireworks are gonna be crazy. But yeah, it's starting to get sunny here, man. The
What?
sun is definitely setting, man.
Black flight.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. It's a damn shame, man. I hate to see it, man. Um, but yeah, they're here, man. The mothership has landed. Um, only good thing about here is that the housing market has gone up some. Like it used to be like you get a house for $50,000. You can even get a house for 20,000, but you get a decent like where you don't have to fix it up too much for $50,000, $60,000. Now it's like 100,000. So the housing market has gone up some, but it still hasn't gone enough up to price out some. So it's still they still coming, they still flooding in here. Um,
New guys in the back.
Yeah, we got fucking fried chicken joints opening up everywhere too. It's like there was no market for you could open a fried chicken. I'm not talking about fried chicken soul food. I'm talking about New York fried chicken, Crown chicken. You got those in Philly, Esri? Like New York fried chicken and Crown chicken, the Arab
Yeah, we
chicken.
do. Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
Like they got a lot of. What do you mean Arab chicken? Yeah, there's a big chain called Assad's. It's a halal fried chicken. Fried chicken sliders.
yeah,
It's really delicious. So yeah,
yeah,
we got a lot of that here.
yeah. We
Um,
never had none of that. We didn't have none of that five
Definitely
years
time to
ago.
move.
Now they fucking went up the street from my house and shit. I'm like, God damn. Fucking kid got hit with a 4-wheeler today, little white kid and shit. Fucked them up too. I'm talking about like
Who
they had
who
the
who did that
that
to
dude
him?
like
Who fucked them up?
the ones who be riding it, his sons and like some trashy ass white boys, but mostly sons. and on
Yeah.
burritos like Dominican.
Probably Irish, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Easy.
they just yeah, but this is yeah, wicked man. I'm glad we have a representative from the community in question here, man. That's the great thing about
Yeah,
this show,
man.
man. We bring you real live people, man. We ain't just a bunch of black and whites on here talking about this. We brought a Mexican in here, man. And you
Yeah,
could
man.
tell by his
Look,
voice. Like I ain't even had to say nothing. They
no,
could tell by your voice you Mexican.
no, no, sí, cómo no. Aquí uno no le ganas, oiga, nada más. ¿Qué le puede decir uno?
Yeah, man.
Usted ya sabe cómo
What's
corre el
up,
agua.
man? What's
Look,
up,
man.
man? Are
You're
you
not
offended that we
you
we
you
don't like?
you're not
Let me
gonna
ask
believe
you.
this.
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
You're not gonna believe this shit, man. I just got deported. I'll be back though.
Oh man, that's fucked up, man. But listen, I want to before you leave, man, I want to ask you a question, man. Um, this is we don't we voted for this, and this is what we wanted, and like I'm not really I'm this is what I voted for. Do you feel some kind of way for people who like, yeah, it's sad and shit, but this is what we voted for?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I told you this, but my girl was giving me pushback because I voted for Trump. But you know me for a while now. I have a very hard line with criminals. The criminals should be deported immediately, right? But but do I am I jumping for joy when I see a mother at work getting grabbed and deported? Hell yeah, I jump for joy, chief. I be doing the robot.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
God,
whenever I see,
God damn.
a kid crying for his dad, like on scene, man, I love it. Don't we all love it though? We love that shit, right, Bill? Bill, do we not love it?
I just want to see you doing the sprinkler.
No, Bill, that's
Oh
not what I
shit.
asked you, Bill. It's like look, I know, new guy loves it, but do you love it, Bill?
I love seeing people that shouldn't be in this country get through deported.
Yeah, man, that's what I just said, man. Fuck them
Yeah,
kids.
no, fuck them. Take them kids. Take them kids with you. Load them up.
Yeah, right. And take that
Move
motherfucking
them the
chihuahua
fuck
with you
out.
too. Hey, take that chihuahua with you too, man.
Well,
Hey,
not us
No,
Irish.
but no, but
hey, let me go ahead.
yeah, no, but yeah, I mean, I voted for it too, but you have to admit, to whatever degree it is outputting to see ICE agents go to a work site, right, like a warehouse, and get
Hmm.
people that are working, or even set up traps for people to like come do your paperwork at the immigration office as a trap, and then grab them then and there. Um, I understand that they came here illegally, right? But
Right.
they're working. They're working.
Hmm.
They're not here as long as they're not here driving drunk. As long as they're not here
Hey,
robbing
hey,
people.
hey, hey! What do you think they doing with their money, man? That they get from working?
Yeah, I mean,
Buying some
not all of
Mason,
them.
man.
Oh, no, yeah, but I mean, let's be speaking seriously, though, man. A lot of them are just working, chief. Raising kids. I mean, like it or not,
Hmm.
like it or not. And look, I asked you a question recently, and no one really answered it. Maybe new guy can answer it for me. Those 80 people they got from that one warehouse that are gonna get deported or whatever the fuck. Who's gonna work those 80 jobs that that warehouse needs now?
Regular Americans are going to work those jobs.
Where were they before? Where were they? Why was it a bunch of
There
illegals
was no
working there?
listing. There was no
That's
listing in
all
the paper,
bullshit.
but there
That's
was no
all. Nobody
job
wants to
What
work
listing.
those jobs. No, that's
was
all.
was it in Spanish? Was application in Spanish? That's freak.
That's all bullshit. They only hire those people because they're cheaper to hire.
They're not as freak. I talked about that. They're paying them what they will pay Americans. They are paying them that shit. They're not paying them less than. They're not. The ones that I
Okay,
know of,
I'll
they're not
answer.
paying them
I'll answer the
less.
question. It's a simple answer. I'm not a GDP nationalist. It's just I will always take an ethnic homogenous country
Yeah,
over GDP
yeah,
at all times.
but new guy, and I know that I know what you just said. You're consistent in that, right? But my question was, where the fuck were those Americans? Where the fuck were the 80 Americans, black and white, or just white? Why was it a bunch of Hispanics working that warehouse? I'm
No,
asking you a simple question.
no, I hear you. I mean, there is some truth to the idea of, quote unquote, Americans don't want to work, certain jobs. I'm not going to deny that, but yeah, it still stands. No matter what, there's just no reason to
Yeah,
have an influx of foreigners for any reason, in my
gotcha.
opinion.
So can I take your answer? Can I take your answer at from that? What were they as they were not trying to work that job? They were not trying to work in that warehouse.
There's
That's fair
some
to say,
truth
right?
to that, I would admit.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that could be
Cool.
many different things. It could be those people who are working in that warehouse have a contract with the gang. They're going to supply them so many workers. They're going to pay them this much. Those people are working off a debt that they pay accrued to get into this country illegally, right? That could
I'm
be a
not.
scenario.
I'm not. It's true. They do that through the temp agencies, right? However,
Yeah, temp
that's very.
agencies.
It's very consistent. It's very consistent, Bill, that a lot of Hispanics, including illegals, not just illegals, but that's all I want to know. All I want to know is what what's that? What is that gonna look like? That workforce, that void. If we
Well,
really want them gone, well, it's not gonna look good. I can't imagine, right?
Well, there's a
hold on,
lot.
hold on. Did America look more or less good before 1965 without this supposed necessary workforce?
Yeah, true.
Well, new guy. My family's been here since before that. My
Well, it's not
family was
it's
here
not a
before
you
that.
question. It's like a general, like, okay, fine. Like
Yeah,
the British Empire never required Humbritos to do what they needed to do.
the British Empire.
Yeah, in other words, white people in any period of time, we don't need other people to help us succeed. In fact, we need the opposite. We need like the absence of them, if anything.
Okay, fair enough. But in the
Well, the
context
British
of
had the
today,
Punjabis.
The Indians,
That's who
yeah.
their Mexicans were.
Yeah, and they used them and they brought them to other parts of the world to work in areas of their empire, like Uganda,
hmm, what do you think
Ghana.
about that, new guy?
Yeah, it's just like the same bullshit. It's like, okay, if 99 white people are in a country and they made it and one fucking Indian is there, the Indian tries to pretend that he built the country. It's the same bullshit.
Well, look, new guy. I look. I genuinely hope that they deport them. I want to see what it looks like, man. I genuinely want to see what it looks like.
Well, Wick, like, are you familiar? Because, well, think about it for a second. If you have a bunch of illegal labor entering any country, right? All they're really going to do is just like bring the later labor shortages with them. So like if we have a labor shortage and I don't know, we need some burritos to come in and like, pick berries or some shit like that. Okay. They come in and they fill in that labor source. Fine. Okay. But now we need more dentists and now we need more doctors because there's more people. Now we need more of everything else to accommodate. So like just pushing like masses of people into any country, it will fill some labor quotas while requiring more labor because they're human beings that need services just like the native population. So it's just like playing whack-a-mole.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And those doctors and dentists, they take years and years to train, and then they're going to bring more foreigners to do that, like Indians and all that other shit, to go in our medical schools. It's just going to create a never ending cycle, right?
Yeah,
New guy.
there's a name for that cycle. It's called Canada. That's literally what we have here.
Wicked.
And
Like
then
these
look,
jobs,
and wait,
these
wait,
jobs were
and then look.
done.
Wait, give me a quick
No,
second, and I real quick. Or he gone. I, and then I'm hearing some people here, right? And other delusional people, they say once we deport all these illegals, Chicago will be safer again.
Yeah, that's a lie, Chief.
I'm
That's a lie.
hearing that. I'm hearing shit like that. I said that. Look, the mad thing, bro.
maybe a little bit because there is a huge Latino gang presence in Chicago,
S3, let me stop you right now.
but
No,
it
there's
only
no
puts
truth to
small
it.
dent.
Oh, maybe it'll decrease by like point 0.25. I don't know. They're not the ones committing all this violent crime, dude. They're not,
I know
Chief.
the majority of it is sons, but
The
but
majority
that's,
of the vast majority.
yeah,
Or
exactly.
just all, really. That's the best way to say it. Just all.
So I hear arguments that are not really genuine. Now new guy's argument I think is genuine, right? That's how he feels. I don't have a problem with his desire for an ethno state. I understand it. No, no guy will probably see me walking down the street out talking Spanish, and it'll make him sick to his stomach. I don't have a problem with that. But other shit, other disingenuous arguments, I don't know, man.
Well, could you list them? Like what ones have you heard?
Well, I just gave you a good one, right? I thought they said
Oh,
once we deport the illegals, Chicago will be safe. Will be safer
oh,
again.
oh, yeah, yeah. No, that's just like a right wing conservative like cope argument, basically. Let's not pretend like that's the like anyone who wants to deport the illegals are either like you know kind of like a soft conservative that's the whole like ooh we just want legal immigration yada yada, and then there's the people like me. But yeah, anyone arguing
Right,
that we're deporting
right.
these people to like lower violence in Chicago, nah, we as long as sons are there we're gonna have violence.
That's one I heard. Like actually, one that I think is sincere is do it the right way, do it the legal way, right? I think it's fair to say.
Wicked. Before you leave, what do you call a Mexican baptism?
Something with fun on it.
Bean dip.
Damn. Yo, have you heard the one hey yeah, what do you call two Mexicans playing basketball?
One on one.
Damn. That's all I got. Shit. Look, these bean eaters, like they work hard, man. You can't take that shit from them. Like, yeah, I get these folks here doing all this nonsense. It's bullshit, right? I'm not gonna defend that. These beaners work hard, dog.
No, I know.
They work
Come
so
on,
hard.
you know.
Why
I,
can't they build up their own? Why can't they build up their own country?
Hey, look,
Answer
listen, man.
that. Answer that.
yo,
Hey,
did I
look.
tell you the story about the burrito with one arm that used to come in Home Depot?
Oh yeah, that's a crazy ass man. Tell that story. That's a crazy ass story, bro.
Burrito got one arm. I'm talking about the arm is off. He don't got like the part to his elbow, like the whole arm gone, like literally the entire thing, not even a nub. And every day he come in there in Home Depot in the building materials department and get drywall. I think he's a drywall guy and whatnot. And sometimes he would get plywood. And anybody knows that it takes two people to load those onto a cart. Everybody knows that, because it's like you got one guy picks up the other side. They're 8 foot long and they're 4 feet wide, and they're heavy enough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
they're more awkward than heavy.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, like putting it on a cart, one of those Home Depot carts, those standing carts by yourself is a lot. You know what I'm saying? For a guy with two arms. This fucker does it with one arm every day. Never accept any help. He does it by himself every day. Never accepts any help. He comes and gets 8. He might come and get 6 one day, maybe 20 another day. Just do whatever job he had. And one day he asked, because we'll be standing in the aisle shooting the bullshit. We brothers and shit. We in it just shooting the bullshit, maybe sweeping up a little same pile for like 30 minutes or whatever, or just stocking some shelves. And he's right there, and we not helping him, right? So because he don't want help, right? And if you a customer, you just come in there one day, you're gonna look at us like we're fucking pieces of shit. But you don't know that he don't want us to help him, right? He wants to do it by himself. Anyway,
I mean,
one day,
think about
one day,
that.
yeah, yeah. One day I'm in there and I'm in there by myself, and I'm just in there, in the aisle, in that particular aisle by myself, he comes over and said, "Hey man, help me out for a second." I was like, "Oh shit!" And when I looked at him, and he looked at me, and we both just started laughing, man, because it's like he know that like he never asked for help.
Well, he was shocked you were going to help him, and you were shocked he could speak English. So there was a lot of shocking going on.
That wasn't the first time I'd ever heard his voice. But listen, here's the thing. I got another guy, man. I'm talking about another guy. I can't remember his name. He did some time in San Quentin, but he was a little short, like 5'1" Mexican, real brown, right? And he came and he was in DC. God damn it, I can't remember his name. But we was good friends, right? As far as
Or
like
some shit, Jose or something.
Jose, yeah, I was going to
nah, it was some other shit. I can't
say Jesus.
but Nah, but it's in my phone. I still got all my contacts. But anyway, he he exchanged numbers and stuff because we will always talk every time you come in, and we would shoot the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And um, one day I was demoing a house out there, way out in Maryland. I'm talking about pretty far out in PG County, and demoing the house. And when we demoed the house, the appliances were still in there. Come on, everything, all the appliances, uh, dryer, washing machine, dishwasher, several dryers. For some reason, this house had like a bunch of like odds. And I was like, yo, we out here in such and such, maybe like an hour away, rush hour away. I'm like, yo, do you want to come get this stuff, man? Um, it's an hour, but during rush hour, it's more than an hour. This fucker drives out there. He gets out there like 45 minutes to pick up some fucking um old ass fucking washing machines and shit. And old ass fucking so he can go take them and um like fix them up and then use them and sell them and shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that type of work ethic is like that type of willingness. You know what I mean? That type of just a
Yeah, work
son
ethic.
wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
A
you
son,
used
a
the right
son,
word.
a son wouldn't have a work truck. First of all, but a son wouldn't just immediate because we was demoing the house and this was the last day, so we needed to get out of there. And the guys that I was demoing the house with, they were going to sell the shit. They was like, "You got anybody? Anybody that'll buy this shit?" You know what I'm saying? Because it belonged to the house. It was just in the house, and we was like, "Shit, we about to sell this shit. We about to sell this shit." And I called them up, and I was like, "Yo, you gotta get here. We about to leave." It was like an hour away. Rush hour. This motherfucker got in there. He got over there in 45 minutes. Picked that shit up. It's just they just different, man. They're different.
Yeah,
And this
yeah.
motherfucker's 5'1", and he carries him out of the house. He drags him out of the house with another guy. 5'1". When I moved here to where I'm at right now, it cost $7,000 to move. That's how much stuff we had. We had to take it from DC to Pennsylvania, right? And it was a big ass truck. It was, I think, a 53-foot truck, and it was filled to capacity. Filled I'm talking about to the top, all the way to the back. It wasn't
Damn,
no room in there, right?
that's a lot of shit.
Well, we took our whole life. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? We took our whole
53-foot truck.
life.
That's
Yeah. Not the
not a semi truck
not a 53-foot truck. What's the one below it? The one below it. Not
because
a 50.
a semi truck is 40 foot long. A trailer,
No, another one. It's another one. It's the other
Also,
so
one.
26 foot.
Yeah, I
there's
think 20.
there's different sizes.
Yeah, yeah,
But that's
yeah,
still
yeah.
alive too, though.
53 foot is the one that I unloaded at Home Depots. The ones that had that I had to put the
The
forklift.
semis.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The ones that the freight trucks. But so anyway, on Brito, it's one on Brito, and I think the boss, he was like, I don't know, he looked like he was on Brito, but he might have been like fucking Eastern European or some shit. But the worker, he was on Brito. He was like a fucking goddamn Mayan and shit. You could tell he was on Brito. And when we were at the place, when we were at my house, it was several of them. It was like three of them, and they all and the boss, and they loaded the fucking truck. Right? We get to Pennsylvania, and it's just one guy and the boss. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Where's everybody at? He's like, oh man, da, 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 da. Just this one guy. Don't worry. He said, don't worry though. He got it. Right?
Right.
Don't
So
worry, I got this Mayan motherfucker.
his ass is sitting
Hey,
in
I
the
got
truck.
this illegal guy.
Yeah, he's sitting in the truck allegedly doing paperwork, right? He's like, I gotta fill out some paperwork. The guy gonna start and then right. So boom, they doing some. He is sitting in the truck doing paperwork, right? This fucker takes the mattresses, the box spring. I wish I could show you my steps because my steps don't go straight up. They go up for 5 steps, then it's a little like
Landing
Like a dip
landing.
or
Yeah, it's a landing, and
um
then they curve, and then they go
90.
up the steps. Yeah, right, 90 degrees, and then curves and go up the rest of the steps. And it's not real high. It's like maybe like 8 feet high. You know what I'm saying? And fucker, this fucker takes the box spring, the and the mattress, and the mattress is like we got one of those king size where it's like, yo, I, he picks them up and lifts them up the fucking stairs. This motherfucker maybe he wasn't a real short on burrito. He's probably like 5'8" or something like that. But he picks it up, takes all that shit upstairs, and I'm looking at this motherfucker and I'm like, yo, I'm starting to feel bad, right? So I go out to the truck and I tap on the window and I'm like, yo, your guy, you know what I'm saying? He's like, oh no, I'm still doing some paperwork. I'm on help in a minute. This motherfucker's still doing paperwork. So I'm like, yo, want me to help you? So I start picking up some stuff and little stuff, and he's like, no, don't worry about it. No, I got it. And I was like, all right, fuck it. You only gotta ask me twice. And then I started just taking little odds and ends. I still was gonna take little boxes here and then shit like that. I wasn't taking the big stuff, right? He was taking like fucking dressers and just like he had this little thing where it was like a strap that go around his neck and another strap go around like the dresser, and he like pinned it to himself and he just carried a fucking dresser up the stairs. And it's like, and he unloaded that whole fucking truck by himself. And I was like, what the fuck? I mean, I was just in awe. I was like, God, and we not talking about no muscle bound dude. You wouldn't look at him and be like, damn, he's strong. You look at him and just be like, he's just a regular guy. And this motherfucker unloaded the whole fucking truck by his fucking self. I
yeah.
gave him a big tip too. I gave him a big tip, man. I gave him like
Pause.
one was
Yo,
out. Yeah,
yo,
Paul.
I grew up with that shit all my life. Like, if you were not a hard worker, you would damn near get shamed, bro. They would shame.
Yeah.
We would shame each other
as
for it.
as it should be.
Yeah, but that motherfucker. The thing about it was that when the guy had confidence in him. The guy was like, when I asked the guy when I said there was only one mover in Pennsylvania, the guy was like, "Oh, don't worry about it." He's like, "Don't worry about it," and I was like,
He like, it's the first
he
stop,
was
bro.
Well, yeah.
right. He
3 weeks
was
ago, that guy was climbing Machu Picchu with a fucking rag over his face to go get sulfur off a volcano,
he was like,
and
"Don't worry
carry it
about
down in a wicker basket on his shoulder. That's why he had that big hump on his shoulder, you know.
it."
I
Yeah,
And
I
now
mean,
he's
mean,
got to
yo,
grab a dresser. Fuck, that's
yo,
nothing. That's
yo,
easy work.
yo,
they just knocked out my neighbor's roof in a day and a half,
yeah, I'm telling
he,
you. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
telling you.
and I mean those fuckers they didn't have harnesses on the roof. They were up the roof free, standing on the roof.
Yeah, just
Like if
clambering around on there. Like,
like, like
Yo,
if the motherfucker falls, if he falls from how small he is,
it's a long
he
day.
probably dead. Or if not dead, he
Yeah. Oh,
fucked up.
he's fucked. Yeah. Yo, that's when I realized that the Umbritos did build the pyramids when they were moving all that
Yeah,
shit.
no, they got pyramids. They find there's so many pyramids in the Amazon
Yeah,
jungle.
to this
yeah,
day,
there's
yeah.
lots
So
and lots.
they're finding them here too in America. In the USA, they're
Yeah,
finding pyramids, and that
Yeah,
was the
from the Indians.
Umbritos. That was the Umbritos too. But as far as Esfrey's question about why don't they build up their own country, look, listen, man. I'm American, right? This is what I know. I grew up here all my life. I don't know much about Mexico like that. But if you were to ask me, hey, the Mexican government is trash, right? Maybe it's DNA. Maybe that's another part of the DNA angle,
That's
right?
not your style of government, but you're running. The problem is y'all are running a European style of government that was given you by Europeans. You're not running your native
Yeah.
style of government.
You know what? Mexico is in particular is paralyzed through the by the drug trade. The mafia has a
Yeah,
stranglehold on Mexico, and there's not much that they could get done with that stranglehold right now. But look, come here legally, 100%. Come here legally, but for whatever reason they don't, and if they're not here committing crime, they're just here working. Mayo was telling me earlier, I get that, a laundry list of reasons why they shouldn't come, right? I don't have a problem with that sentiment. But again, I've told you here before, Chief, I know where I come from, and I can't look in the mirror if I was against where I come from. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. Salute to my man Herm, man. Herm in the building, man. Shout out to Herm, man, in the building. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. Don't forget to support the channel. I know y'all enjoying the show, man. Make sure y'all support the channel. Get in the comment section, man, and all that crap, man. But yeah, uh, at the same time, Wicked, this violence, you do know how violence or how protests work, right? The longer it takes for the
Yeah.
government to stamp it out, the more it grows, right?
I think it's gonna spread all over the country. To be honest, I was looking at it yesterday, and I was has the potential to spread across the country.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, I didn't vote for that, and I voted for Trump, a strong man, to come stop shit like this out. I'm kind of ticked off with Trump, man. What do you think, guys? Do what are you feeling about how Trump is handling this?
He can't bring the federal military or police in to a city. You
The
just can't
guard
do
is
it.
there, but the National Guard is there now. He got supposedly Trump sent him there, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
he
they might be
did.
on standby.
The first time that the state didn't do it in like 50 years.
No, they're
And
there,
like,
Bill. The guard is there in the front
No,
lines.
they can federalize the National Guard. That's what George Bush Senior did for the L.A. riots. Like, I know they're not supposed to send the military out because Posse Comitatus Act or whatever. But like, if there's like an insurrection or a major disturbance, then yeah, they can. They did it in the '60s, and they can do it now. This is what he should have done in 2020, to be honest with you. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I think now that he's not running for a second term, I think now he's going to be like more hardline against this kind of stuff. What do you
That's what we
guys think?
thought too. But this is going on. But these are Democrat-run areas. That's the problem.
That's why
They're
he's
not.
federalizing the National Guard.
They're not
He's
doing this stuff in my neighborhood or in red areas, if you will. Ooh, nice Monte Carlo.
yeah,
Somebody said I'm showing my true colors, right? But why? Because I said that I think it's a shame a woman getting separated from her kid who's at work. Shame on me, right? Shame
Well,
on me.
no, they're not saying that. What they're saying is that fundamentally, if the way you feel that way is due to like an ethnic solidarity, then it's just like you're not really American in any sense of the word. And if you are, then America doesn't really exist
Yeah.
because it's just like different ethnic nations, just fighting each other for economic supremacy,
But
basically.
new
did
guy,
you
what if I felt like that if it was a glider king? What if I felt the same way? Does it apply then? What you just said?
Right.
what
And
did you
right. And that's the point though. When that person says you're quote unquote showing your true colors, they're basically making the accusation that the reason you feel that way is because they're an umbrito.
what could you're just proving your point that you say you're pro glider and all that stuff, but like at the end of the day, you're going to look out for your own people. And
I
that's what I'm saying. We're having millions of people coming into this country who only look out for themselves. It's not going to be America. It's going to be like every group out for itself.
Yeah.
And that's why.
You know what, freak? I never once said I was pro glider. I always said I hate everybody. Everybody sucks, freak. I
But
never
Wick,
said I
Yeah,
was pro
but
glider.
you got to
how
have
you
like a
said,
pro glider kind of viewpoint to be on this show because
No,
in a way, in a sense.
yeah, maybe. But I don't think I do, but maybe so.
but Wick, when you said a moment ago, you're like, oh, I'm for legal immigration because, I can't look at myself in the mirror and feel that it's justified to prevent
Yeah.
people from coming from where I did. Right. Okay.
Hmm.
So, if that's the case, then we can't really complain then if, like, for example, the Juice Crew hollows out the entirety of this fucking country to serve their own interests in Israel, right? Because, they can't look at themselves in the mirror and not do that because you see what I'm saying? So if every
No,
group
I
does
don't.
that,
No, I don't understand what you're getting at.
Okay,
Look,
you're
I don't want to drag this on for Ag, but I will throw this out there at you guys. I don't think you were here, new guy, or as freak when I said my parents came here illegally, right? So you ever seen the movie? You know who Ron Burgundy is?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking to Ron Burgundy right now.
Mm.
So that's kind of what I'm getting at, but I don't want to drag it on for Ag.
Nah, it's all right, man. I'm just, I'm learning, man. You got people that are affected by the you know the Umbrito plight. Like now,
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
us this. Let me ask you this. What is the biggest fear of going back to Mexico?
I think like people
The
that
cartels.
come to my mind, right? I think it would be the work. The it's mainly about the work. You gotta understand, bro. I've had uncles, right, talk to me lamenting having to leave Mexico, wishing they never had to leave. Believe it or not, lamenting and leaving. That's where they grew up. But they had to come here to work. Sounds crazy, maybe foreign to some of you guys. But
Well,
I told
50
these,
years ago, Mexico didn't have the manufacturing industry. It didn't have the textile industry. But since NAFTA, which screwed America, that was the death knell for the middle class, sent most of our manufacturing, exported it out of the country. A lot of it went south.
Yeah,
Um,
there have been more
in the
manufacturing
last 20
built
years, that
in Mexico.
area has a lot of industry now, Mexico, and those people could work there. But
Exactly, and after
but you
like
you
Bill,
still
let me
got
cut
to
you off.
deal with the military and the corrupt government and the drug dealers.
the cartel.
That's what I meant, the cartel. So all that is just a big bundle of shitstorm that somehow they've got to figure out.
Yeah, but Bill, that's why I didn't mean to cut you off, but I had to say this. Like, there has been a lot of foreign investment in Mexico. There have been a lot of trade sites, free economic zones, and manufacturing centers. I think Toyota's building some, Volkswagen's building some as well. And maybe their wages might be shit, but look at China. Decades ago, these people were making a couple dollars an hour, like a day. Now their wages have been going up, so it's going to take a while. But the foundation is being built in Mexico. It is there.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Hey, I have a we have a family friend, right? I'm pretty close to her. I don't really talk to her that much anymore, but he told me a week ago because I saw her a week ago that she had an appointment at an immigration office because she's getting all that worked out to be a citizen, right? But she told me that she
Mm,
was kind of nervous about going because she doesn't want to throw up and then the ice grabs her, which that's kind of what it is, and this person that I'm telling you about, all they do is work. You know
mm-hmm.
what I mean? And again, I know people. A lot of folks don't want to. They don't want to hear that shit. They're not interested in hearing that shit. But that's just the reality of what it is,
Yeah,
like
but
it
if
or
she's a
not.
citizen, what has she got to be worried about? Just have your
She's
ID with you,
she's
everything will
she's
be
not
fine.
she's not a citizen. She's working on it. That's why she had to go to the
Oh,
immigration office. You know what I mean? And
okay.
she went and everything was good. Nothing happened. But if they were to have grabbed her and deported her out, it wouldn't have impacted me directly, but it would have impacted people close to me. So that's kind
Mm,
of one way that I would have felt it. And it would have been. I'm not gonna lie to you. For the people that don't like me, right? It would have been devastating. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean that's just what it is. I mean, she knows what it was. Everybody knows what it is. If they grab
I
you, you get
think
deported.
I think crime breakers should be deported first before regular workers, where they go in and they, swarm a sweatshop or whatever. I really think if you commit a crime, out of the country. I don't give a shit to jaywalking.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that, to be honest. But at the same time, with everything I've been saying, look, I can't argue against people that would say do it the right way, do it legally. I don't have an argument against that. You know what I mean? It's true.
mm-hmm.
I honestly think America has enough people And like, if we bring in any more people legally or not, because oh, let's bring in legal immigration, okay, but then they up the quotas, and then you're having just as many people come in as if they would be illegally. Like America, in my opinion, it's full. We have more than enough people that we need to do the jobs that we need to do.
Hold on. I don't think that's true. So it fundamentally is 100% down to race. Because think about it for a moment. We have basically all of this, unskilled labor from Mexico coming in, right? But let's be honest. Why does it really fucking bother people? If those immigrants were hypothetically 100% English speaking Anglo Saxons, you know, and we just let them in undocumented, first of all, you wouldn't even realize it, right? Because you couldn't tell them apart from the native population. So nobody would ultimately give a fuck. It is most definitely a racial thing, and many conservative cucks are unwilling to admit this, but that is fundamentally what this is about. It is racial.
Well, it's a language thing too, because if you don't, I think you should have to learn the country or learn the language to live in the country.
No, but even that, it is
Like
still
if I
a
go to
racial
France,
thing.
they don't give a shit if I don't speak French.
Okay.
Nobody caters to me. I shouldn't have to learn Mexican. I hate going to the store and seeing Spanish labels on my fucking mayonnaise.
Okay, but let's just pretend that let's pretend that every Mexican could magically speak English natively once they came over the border
That used to
illegally.
be the law. To
Okay,
be an American citizen, you had to speak
no.
English. You had to know our government system.
Okay,
They had all these checks and balances that you had to do.
no. If let's imagine for a second, all of the illegal Mexican labor that was coming across the border could speak English natively, right? It still would be a racial thing. People would still not like it. People just do not like replacement migration through the guise of, GDP nationalism. Just
No,
people are fucking sick of it and
yes,
always have been.
never. They've never liked it. Right.
Yeah. It's just fundamental. It's just human nature.
I just want to say this, new guy. A lot of these immigrants that are coming in here, they're unskilled, like laborers or something like that. But we don't have like a demand for those people anymore. Not like we did in the earlier years, even last century. Like
Yeah.
now, the kind of labor that we need is skilled, more specialized, more technical, and they don't have those skills. And like I'm sorry, like oh yeah, well our government's corrupt. We have the cartels. Like I'm sorry. I know it's cruel, but it's the truth. That's not our problem. Like,
Fix your
Yeah.
government.
The age of
that's
like
not the problem of the glider people who built this country. It's not the problem of the Europeans.
or the
Yeah,
Japanese or the Juice Crew, like, or all the other groups that can actually make a fucking civilization work properly. Like, it's not their problem. It's the black and brown problem. You're all like the low IQ people. You got to figure it out for yourselves. Like, stop fucking ruining other people's countries.
exactly. Like I'm saying, like, they say that gliders, oh, you guys lived in caves, all that other shit. Okay, well, if that's the truth, just let me make this point. Then how did we build the modern world? Like,
We
like
stole it.
yeah, we stole it. Yeah, and then you guys can't create it anymore because we stole those abilities from your cognition. Come on, give me a fucking
Somehow.
break.
But I'll
That's
say
like
this, like,
losing the recipe to make ice.
the age of like mass immigration should have ended by the end of the 1800s. Basically, there's no reason to be moving masses of people around the globe. It made sense during the times of the British Empire, right? But yeah, after there's it's just like it's ridiculous to justify, really.
That's what I was saying earlier, and you said you disagree. But yeah, I said like America is full,
But
like what I mean.
but
And honestly, and these hombredos are coming in here. They're thinking like, oh yeah, they could just come in here like fuck our laws, fuck you Anglos, you gringo motherfuckers or whatever. Like, no, you guys, we built this country, and now you want to come in here, and then you want to cry racism and talk shit on the native population who built this country.
but
Like
new guy, but new guy,
like fuck that
you
shit.
gotta
It's
understand, new
entitlement.
guy. You gotta understand, new guy. After the 1800s, how many Polacks, how many how many mix came here, right? How many Dagos came here after that
Yeah.
1800s?
So this is kind of, I was thinking about this like a day ago. This is kind of the way like I see it. Like
But those people were European,
when
Wicked. That's the I'm trying to
but
make.
But I'm asking a new guy though. To his
so
point,
when the British like came to America, right? The people that were coming were of one stock. They were British Anglo-Saxon people, right? A homogenous
yeah,
group of people. And throughout the centuries, basically what happened is like the area or the ethnic groups of people that came into America started to kind of
Europe.
expand. It started with Anglo-Saxons, and then it kind of became like a pan-European identity. And it seems to me like the 1920s was like the immigration kind of ran up to what I would describe as like a wall in 1920, where you had like Italians, Polish people, Ukrainians, Jews,
Yeah, in America.
right. And in my opinion, if that was not already across the line, maybe some people retroactively think it was, maybe not, I don't know.
It was
But
back then.
but well, yeah, but back then people are always going to be like reactionary. But I'll say
Yeah,
this
like
much,
today. Like
like
today.
like Wicked, without a doubt, the line that got crossed post 1965, that was way above or
Yeah.
beyond the line, right? If 1920s was before the line, 1965 was like way beyond that line. So like
Yeah.
the
Do
1920s was like the last chance for America to like be like, hey, we need
correct
to
itself.
stop this. and
Do,
and yeah,
do you remember what Ike said about his father in 1965?
I do not know.
You mind if I tell him, Mike?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's when my dad came over after the hot till
That's what got his
and my
dad.
uncle.
That's what got his
Yeah.
dad here. That's what got Ike's family over here.
I
1965.
thought Ock's mom was American or something.
Well, we're talking about her dad. His dad and his uncles. That 1965 act is what got his family in particular. Yeah. Crazy shit, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, so Ock is half Tether, half FBA then.
Yeah, basically.
Hmm.
Oh, okay, okay.
But I just thought that was interesting to the point you're making. Look, I hear you, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Appreciate your perspective.
if you go from the 1920s, which was basically a Europe, like all of Europe, right? In my opinion, I think even that was probably across the line. But let's just say it wasn't. 1965 is going, okay, we're going to go from Europe to the entire fucking globe. And then we're wondering why we have this picture in front of us right now with Mexicans riding everywhere, 50 years
The
later.
flag,
Like,
yeah,
what
with
the
the
fuck did you
flag.
expect?
Now in Canada, a lot of the gliders in Canada, they're descendants from the Franks, right? From France,
Yeah, but
mainly,
they're
right?
they're
Not so
mostly
much
in
like,
Quebec.
but they're not
That's just one
okay.
portion of
So what?
Canada, right?
So what about the rest of it? Because there's not many Italian and Irish that went to Canada, was there?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Oh,
Irish descent,
A lot
Irish,
of
English,
Irish, a lot of
oh,
Irish and
Scottish.
really?
Scots.
In Newfoundland area, they still speak Scottish Gaelic, and there was some Italian migration in Canada. Not as much as USA, but there was some. Right, new
Oh,
guy.
interesting.
It is more Anglo dominated though, but it's mostly like British Isle dominated for the most part. Yeah, less Italians.
What about the Polskas and the Eastern Europeans? Was there much? Was there an influx of that
Not as
to
much.
Canada?
Not
There
as
was a
much.
lot here in America, in Chicago in particular. I know a lot of Polish came here. A lot of Eastern Europeans, Czechs, I think Lithuanians. I mean, and people were mad when they came here. I'm sure you know that. But when the Irish were coming here and the Italians were coming here, you should see the cartoons they would draw about these people, bro. They were incredibly hilarious. They would draw Italians as like communists and gangsters and assassins
Oh,
and
they were.
criminals.
Right.
And they were like one of an Italian immigrant actually tried to murder I forget what president. He tried to kill the president and ended up killing the mayor of Chicago, Termac. But he was an Italian immigrant. So they were.
Yeah, and you got to remember that Italy back then was, well, in the 20s and 30s was Mussolini. So they were very, they weren't communists, but they were, what's the word?
Fascist.
Fascist.
Fascist. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of political upheaval in that time period going around that would naturally, rationally make you afraid of immigrants from those countries. But in 1965, like I don't there wasn't much really going on in Europe that,
except
there
for the
wasn't.
Cold War.
Yeah, I guess there's the Cold War. Yeah.
That was a kind of a big deal.
I know, but like at the end of the day, those groups that came in were European, and they still were able to develop functional governments and functional civil societies.
Well,
Maybe
not
Italian
well,
immigrants too, because I just
no,
hold on,
not necessarily.
hold
Not
on, Wicked. I'm not
necessarily.
done talking. I'm not done talking. I'm not done talking. You know what I mean? And like the mafia came out too, because Mussolini was cracking down on the mafia, so a lot of those mafioso came here. I'll admit there was that political upheaval and all that other stuff, but but look at every European country there is right now. They have functional government. Like, you
Do
know what I
they?
mean? I think,
Do
yes,
they?
yes.
Okay.
Like, which ones don't?
What are you talking about? Look at I was looking at a video arc of England, and so many of their cities and towns are they had Patel.
Yeah, but they're talking about
That's
when
because
they
of
were
the
homogeneous,
Patel.
though. They're talking about when they were homogeneous, pretty
Yeah,
When
much.
they
Is that
were
what you?
homogeneous,
Wicked.
native,
They're
indigenous
not
squad.
functional for the same reason America isn't functional because your
Yeah,
people are
the
in it.
influx, the influx.
You see what I mean? Like
But what is that? What is S free? What were you saying then, S free?
the reason why America is not functional is because there's not a large non-glider population here.
Yeah.
Uh,
Like, look, Wicked, you were saying that they were bringing the Polacks, the Polish, the Poles, the Greeks, the Italians, all that other stuff, and they weren't considered white. But at the end of the day, they still were glider, and there were still a lot of discoveries, and in those countries, they still had that glider mind of innovation, of creativity, of order, and all that other stuff. I mean, democracy comes from ancient Greece. The republic comes from Rome, which were Southern European countries. Yes,
yeah, but
they were able to assimilate at the end of the day.
eventually they assimilated.
I
But
don't,
now it took
I'm
them a
with
But
while.
Wick on this one.
Took them a while.
I think that it should have stayed basically majority Germanic people for the most part. I don't think it was necessary to have
That's
an
kind of what I'm getting
influx
at.
of
Yeah, that's what I'm
Italians
getting at.
and Jews and Poles, but I think we can all agree like Italians, Jews, and Ukrainians, they're not what broke America. Let's be
What about the
honest about that.
Scots? What about the Irish? You okay
Yeah,
with
they're
them?
they're
they're
Celtic.
Germanic. They're fine.
They're
But
not
they,
Celtic.
but they
You
were,
know, they're
but
Celtic.
they struggled when they got here. They cut on the sun word. They were the original sun words
We
when
were
they got
lower than the Sunwards, the
right
Irish.
because of their behavior and their culture.
No, 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 that's
No,
They
just
nonsense.
were
because
they were
we were imports.
problematic.
No,
They
it's
were
because
problematic.
no, 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 no. Not you're stretching the term here problematic to pretend like Scots and like the behavior that Mexicans and Sons exhibit are anywhere nearly comparable, and they're not.
But
They're like,
but but what I'm getting at, new guy, is back when I was reading about the original replacement theory.
okay,
Back then when they were influxing these Catholics, right?
yeah,
Um,
Catholics over Protestants, yeah,
right, the Irish and the Italians in particular. There was a huge concern from the gliders that were here already that they were being replaced,
yeah, they
and,
were.
and then they would observe the behavior of the Irish in particular, right? Their drunkenness, their customs, their refusal to assimilate, right? Similar to today. Now, granted, I understand the context of the Umbritos are even more different because the Irish are still gliders, right? I understand that. But I'm speaking of back when that's how it was viewed, right? Um, I know the Italians were always their neighborhoods were filled with their Italian flags when they came here. They refused to learn English,
Yeah, that's
right?
what I'm saying. Like maybe the line should have been drawn there. Like you're no, you're right. That's why I'm saying like I think it should have been like just Germanic people, like
Yeah.
Germany, Scandinavia, and then the British Isles, and that's all.
And
That's it.
maybe I'm crazy for. I know you're not gonna agree with this new guy, but I don't think the Umbritos are necessarily a negative on this country,
They are.
personally,
Yes, they
right?
are. 100% they are.
But
They are.
the Umbritos are not again. Let's look at a city like Chicago, right? Chicago split three ways. I think it's a good city to look at. One third glider, one third sun, one third Umbrito, right? You following me?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
right. And if you look at the crime statistics, if the Suns are a 10, the Umbritos will be like a 4, and the
It's
Gliders will be
not
like a
just
2.
crime, Wicked. The Umbritos require a lot of assistance, and they take a lot of these entitlements too. Like California has been gone nearly bankrupt because of the cost it takes for the Umbritos.
Yeah, but look, when I hear things like that, right? I hear
Well, he's
shit
talking
like
about
that.
everything. We could the social
No, I
cost, what it
got you.
costs to school
I
their
got you.
children, to give them lunch money,
And not
Right.
only
all that
that, like
stuff.
all this extra strain all this extra population puts strains on our roads, our highways, like you know what I mean, our public transportation, our schools, our medical facilities.
Yeah,
You know,
infrastructure that the Umbritos are regularly working on, physically regularly working on all this infrastructure you just described. Every time I look out, an Umbrito is working on that. Umbritos
A
and gliders,
concrete
right?
job or
Um, all of it. But the Umbritos are paying into all of that nonetheless. Um,
No.
AP is in the back.
Okay, hold on. I gotta I gotta have a rebuttal here. Okay. So obviously there's like the genetic hardliners like me who just go, I don't care
yeah,
about
for
any of
sure.
that. So let's
Right,
take that and
100%.
pretend I'm not that though. Let's throw that argument out to the ocean for a moment, right?
Okay,
Under that argument would be, okay, well, hold on. We have to judge groups as a group, right?
right.
Obviously an umbrito could be a doctor. One umbrito could be, sure, we understand that.
Yeah,
And any one white man could be a criminal who requires social services and is just a negative, fine. But
yeah.
in the aggregate, if we throw out the ethnic argument, then I suppose the barrier to America would be, okay, as a group of people, are you going to bring the average as compared to the white average up or down? Because if you made that argument, then maybe you could start making arguments about, like, oh, we can bring in East Asians though, or Patels,
Hmm.
but Honduras would still fail that bar
Yeah,
because basically they lower IQ, more
right.
rates of violence,
Well,
STDs, drug
burritos
For
do
abuse,
sure.
it too.
alcoholism.
You
Like,
know what my response to that is though, new guy? If I could respond to you quickly.
yeah,
With here and we came up with this theory once, right? And I really liked it. So say there's like a glider neighborhood, right? In I'm gonna use Chicago again, but say there's a glider neighborhood in Chicago, right? And in this glider neighborhood, you brought in, how can I put it, man? I'm make sure I don't butcher it. If you bring burritos to a glider neighborhood, enough burritos, it'll change the neighborhood, right? For the worse, you could say, right? But if you were to bring enough burritos into a sun neighborhood, it will make that neighborhood better. Does that
sure.
make sense? So I understand what you mean as far as
you
it would
also have
decrease
that the Mexican people that are largely a godly people,
very
right?
religious, yeah,
Very
they're very
religious.
religious.
You're taught right from wrong. You know
Yeah,
what stealing is.
family oriented and all that. So
Right.
so I
That's what
understand.
the Sun community doesn't have that.
Yeah, so I understand what you're saying,
But look
Nuga,
at
as
how much
far as
violence there are in Umbrito countries, like in Guatemala, in Mexico, Honduras. So, like, I mean, Umbritos don't commit a lot of crimes in the USA, but some of their countries are some of the most dangerous in the world. El
yeah,
Salvador was the most dangerous.
Excellent point, S
but
Freak.
but we're
Okay, hold
Naive
talking
on.
about
fellow.
America though.
Let me
You just made a
respond though.
point that I will respond.
Let me respond to Wicked though, because he's making, I think, a bad argument because he's basically saying, oh, look,
It would
like,
it's decreased it decreased a little bit, right? Is what I'm my
it's
argument.
it's decreased a little bit, but here, I'll even steel man your argument. I'll make one that I think would be acceptable.
Okay.
Sure. So if Umbritos come in, they're going to fuck up the white average because they're worse, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to increase the sun average because they're better, right? Okay, we agree
Right.
on that. But the problem is, like, they're not eliminating the suns. At least if you deleted them and they no longer
Hmm.
existed, then that would be better.
Yeah.
I would admit that. But you're not deleting the suns. You're just pushing the suns out, and then they go somewhere else within the country. Like, you still
Mm,
have to deal with them, right? So
yeah.
at the end of the day, you're still bringing the white average down.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, look again. I said it a second ago. Maybe I'm. I'm biased on it, but I grew up around it. Maybe I'm a fish in water, but see, I grew up in a very rough neighborhood, no way, very rough neighborhood, right? And the neighborhood was still very family oriented, very religious. It was just it was just a lot of gangs, some gangs, I guess, you know. But no, like I can't defend illegal immigration. I'm not gonna defend it, but I pretty much explained to you where I stand on that.
Well,
You know?
Wicked, when you say you grew up in a quote unquote rough neighborhood, you didn't
Yeah.
grow up in a rough neighborhood. You just grew up in a Hispanic one. There's a difference,
Yeah, you
right?
were lucky
Damn.
to be in
There,
America.
Like no,
there,
no, like
there.
no, no. The reason why it's rough, quote unquote, is not because
Yeah,
it's poor. It's because there's Mexicans with low IQ there. You see what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. I
Like
mean, look,
it's
I
Dun,
could
dun,
accept
dun.
that.
like there's
I
no
could
such thing as
accept
a
that.
rough
Mic
neighborhood
drop.
in Japan. It doesn't matter where you go. There's no rough
Yeah,
neighborhoods in
there,
Japan.
there was Hispanic neighborhoods that were not bad here though. There are some that are not bad.
Yeah, but those are
You know,
wealthy.
I wouldn't say they're wealthy, but they don't experience the same gang. They're not gang infested. Do you know what I mean? But I grew up with the. I don't know. You ever heard of the Latin Kings? I grew up with a
Yeah,
bunch of
I've
Latin
heard of them. Yeah.
Kings. Yeah, that's who I grew up with. But there's neighborhoods here that didn't have street games that were Hispanic. But look, new guy. I mean, your arguments to me are interesting because you're very hard line on your ethno state, and I'm very intrigued by that. But obviously, again, you said this. Maybe I think how I think because I'm defending my people naturally, like you're
100%.
defending yours naturally. Maybe that's what it is.
DNA.
But I just know that I don't tolerate criminals myself, and I appreciate a good work ethic, and I think a lot of us do. A lot of
That's from your
Hispanics do,
family, though.
right? But I
But
think a
if
lot
your
of
family is a
Hispanics,
bunch of gangbangers, that's okay.
yeah, yeah. But I feel like a lot of Hispanics just like have that same mindset I just described
But hold
Right.
on.
from my
I'm
That
experience.
30 or
the
40% that are bad are the bad ones, right?
I don't even know if
That
it's
are
that high, though. 30, 40. I don't even know if it's that high, to be honest.
but hold on. Like where is the this is just like kind of like a meme. This whole like Mexicans are hard workers, blah blah blah, and that's why we need to,
Yeah.
replace the gliders. Like I don't the data doesn't back it up. Like Mexicans are more likely to be on welfare than whites. They have
Is that
more
true?
rates.
I
Yes,
don't know if
they
that's true.
that is true. They're
It's
Okay.
definitely true.
Mexicans when compared to whites have a lower economic output and are higher in all the things. Mexicans are just like the sun junior, basically. That's how I describe it. Like they're
Now,
just,
you're saying on burritos or just the Mexicans or
I mean, a
burritos
No,
in general?
catch-all term for brown people south of
Oh,
Texas.
gotcha. I like it. I'll take it. I'll take
new
Mexicans.
guy. Let me just cut in real fast. If you look at the chart that says between the races of which ones are a surplus and which ones are a negative, burritos are a negative. The only two that are surplus are gliders and tigers. You can
Pata-
pull up that chart
you mean
again.
Patels too, right? You mean Patels are included in that tiger for you, right? Or no?
Possibly, yeah.
There
But
you
that's what
go,
I'm saying.
new
But,
guy.
but
Get him, new
burritos are
guy.
still a net negative.
You hear what he said,
Without
new guy?
question,
Get
yes.
his ass, new guy. He said Patels are a positive, bro. You gonna let
In
that slide?
in in
I
the
didn't say
context,
anything about Patels. Don't put things in my mouth. I'm talking about burritos being a negative. I didn't say nothing about Patels. You're the
You
one who's
did.
putting it in my mouth.
Wicked
Like
stirring the pot.
No, you did. But okay, but not to upset you, but you did literally just say it, dude. Whatever, neither here nor there. But you did
said
just say
tiger.
it though. And then you included Patels in it, no big deal.
Hey, Wicked, how come you
No,
didn't
you
join the Latin Kings?
Uh I would
I hear
tell
they're
you,
pretty
but
cool. They got cool guns
they,
and stuff.
they are pretty cool, believe it or not. I mean, I know they're shithead gangbangers and they're violent, but they are pretty cool too. Like they I know guys that could be on the panel hanging out with us and y'all would like them, believe it or not. Even though they used to be gangbangers, when they were kids. But I don't know why I didn't
So they
join
just
them.
grew up.
Some of them grew up.
so was it your family, do you think? The church? You'd be shunned by your loved ones? All
I
that
think it
stuff
was
played
I
into
think
it?
I think it was a bunch of shit, right? A bunch of different things. Some of them I can't say because my girl will hear me, But it was you know, a bunch of different things. But no, look, I appreciate the conversation. I think right now, I think this is just the beginning of this civil unrest. To be
No doubt.
honest,
I mean, I think there will be more and more people will have to think like me. Like they will be forced to.
yeah, maybe
It's
so.
it's not something that
Because
can be ignored. It's like a toothache. Like it just keeps getting worse and worse. It's not going
yeah,
to go away.
I don't think Tom Homan's gonna stop. I think Tom Homan is gonna encourage him even to go harder, and I think the public is gonna respond accordingly as well. So I'm curious to see how it develops.
As to Ak, as to your question though, I don't think Trump's doing enough. If I'm being honest, I don't think so.
I agree.
It's just although like I don't really know what the fuck is he really supposed to do. I mean,
Right.
it's
Do a
kind of like
fucking
this,
state of emergency address and call out the problem.
right? But at the end of the day, like the ethnic composition of a country is a very precious thing, and I would like let's use an analogy here. Like I can destroy the Mona Lisa in 2 seconds, but to defend the Mona Lisa and preserve it, you have to dump in endless amounts of resources, right? Because I can just go up to it and like smear peanut butter all over it. So it's kind of the same with like the country. Like is no matter what Trump does, for every like 1 unit of effort that a fucking Mexican takes to like jump over the border, Trump has to do like 1,000 units of effort to expel him. It's just fundamentally like a thermodynamic, you know,
Figure.
asymmetry.
And how hard are they going to stomp the boot down the minute they start actually killing a cop, or if the National Guard comes in and they start taking a few of them out?
Fuck that. What if they kill a Fed? That's even
That,
worse.
that's what I mean. Yeah, if they start knocking off National Guard members somehow.
No, ICE agents.
Oh,
Then I don't know. I think that would be the catalyst to a kinetic civil war.
But it's not impossible. It's very possible that during an operation, agent gets attacked, right? But they say a lot of this unrest is Antifa, so it's the white boys.
Yeah,
Is
Yeah,
you
that
know,
fair
this
to
is
say?
definitely like
well,
manufactured.
there's a chunk
I
of the
can't believe this is
Democratic Party
organic.
that is just rubbing their hands.
Yeah,
no,
the ones that are like attacking and doing like a lot of the
Yeah, they're
burning and
lefties.
whatnot.
let
That's the
let's
Antifa.
They're
no,
white
let's
lefties.
own it here. Let's own it. We got a lot of like white cucks out here, fucking running around waving Mexican flags and doing all this bullshit for these illegals. Like, let's not pretend that's not what's happening.
Yeah, exactly. Just like all those bricks didn't just show up on corners
But
Exactly.
I
during the
resent
George Floyd thing.
though the opinion that it's manufactured. No, like these cucks are out here and they feel the way they feel. Like I don't buy the whole like, oh, we're being divided by external forces and it's the juice
You're
crew
not a
and blah blah blah.
conspiracy theorist. We know.
No,
Hey,
no, no, come on.
hey guys, let me let some
Come
other
on,
people. Let me read the super chat, and I'm gonna let some other people jump in here. Glacier Glider Greatness says, "What's gonna happen if a police officer or National Guard get off at riots? Most likely curfew and unlawful assembly. But what's your take?" So that's what y'all were answering. AP, what's up? You in the building?
Hey, how's my mic?
Please let her, like, at least get a sentence out first before y'all jump.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. So, I'm listening to what you guys were saying, and for me, Trump is not going to do but so much because he's being blocked by the courts. The problem is, and he's also he's doing the best that he can as the president. Where the ball drops is the governors. The governors in these red states are not backing him. And the reason they're not backing him is because there's a lots of corruption. First of all, the lie is being told that we need the migrants to come in because they're going to do the work. The problem is you keep bringing these people in, it's not allowing technology to take place. We could advance ourselves in a farming technology if we didn't have these people coming in. Other Eastern European nations are doing it. You look at what's going on in Estonia, Slovenia, and these other nations. They don't have a bunch of migrants coming in doing their gardening and farm work. They're doing it. They're advancing their technology. So that's number one. Number two, these federal states that are allowing bringing these refugees and these immigrants, legal and illegal in, they're getting federal money. Trump is going to have to buckle down, and he's going to have to cut off the federal money. Because never forget, not only do these people come in and are a burden on the welfare state, but by them having children, states can come in, especially it's happening in a lot of these liberal states as well. They're counting them as indigent care. So that money that's coming in federally, their heads get counted, and they get money through public schools and through the medical process. So that's another thing. And how deep the cuts have to be, well, those cuts are going to affect a lot of these poor states, so-called red states, because they've been balancing our budget off the federal money. And so he's doing that. So that's why the anger is coming up because of that. What's happening in these cities, I don't think a lot of the immigrants are doing this. This is like someone mentioned earlier, Antifa and all these other liberal groups. So that, once again, is going to have to be exposed. That money is going to have to be cut off. When it comes to immigration, it should be merit-based. And we haven't had merit-based immigration in a long time. Even Donald Trump is talking about giving green cards to the tech sector. Why? Why are we giving green cards to these people coming from India and China and all these other places when we have our American students who are graduating and going to need jobs? See, when we talk about the immigration thing, it's a problem, legal and illegal. Like in my area, we have a lot of HB1 visa workers coming in from India. No, they don't commit crimes. No, they don't bother people. Actually, their students do better than American students. But the problem is we're also cutting a sector of our population out of the workforce, which is not right. We're having kids who are not even going into the tech sector. Why? Because they're not going to have a job. And it's not just the tech sector that's being affected, our healthcare sector as well. You go to the hospital, look at all the Filipino nurses you see here. Look at all the Asian doctors you see here. A lot of them are naturalized citizens, the second generation, because their parents came here. But my problem with that is you're cutting out a whole sector of American students. Why bother even going to medical school when you're not going to get a residency? Because somebody from India or China is going to make sure that one of their fellow compatriots gets that residency. Michelle Malkin, I don't know if you guys know her. She did a long interview with American residents saying the discrimination they're getting. So what's happening is we're having the media that's just focusing talking about DEI, DEI, DEI. But it's not just DEI that is cutting out white Americans from the different sectors. It's this thing too. And so the media is not going to talk about that because Republicans are not going to talk about that, because never forget that donor base as well. See, this immigration thing, it goes deep. It goes deep. There's a lot of corruption here. And we have even our president going over to Qatar. Why are we bringing in more Muslim immigrants? I don't hear him talking about cutting off the Muslim visas. It's you know, it's a lot. It's a lot to it, and it's a lot deeper than what we're seeing. And even when we talk about bringing in immigrants from Europe, are we doing a criminal background check on these people? We're having a whole bunch of people coming in. We don't even, they call themselves refugees, and we don't know these people. And they're taking up services, they're taking up housing. For me, I look at it as an environmental thing. You look at all the high-rise apartments and homes that are going up. We're destroying our environment. For what? That's my take on it.
Well said. Bravo. Hear that, Wicked?
For me, my thing about it is why, okay, we're bringing 1 million this year, we're bringing 2 million next year. And it's not just from Latin America. I'm talking about from Africa. I'm talking about from the Middle East. I'm talking about from China as well. They're not doing anything to cut their birth rates.
I know what you're saying, like, and then like it's another form of replacementism, because like, they're going to take away jobs from the native glider people, and then they're not going to have money to have kids. It's another form of the glider genocide.
Right. We're
But they said
paying
it's
for our
legal.
own, yeah, we're paying for the rope to hang ourselves. And and my thing is, and I have
And
compassionate
that's
for
what I've
these
been saying.
people.
Like, just because it's legal, that doesn't mean it's any less sinister. It's just another side of the same coin.
Right. And keep in mind, like I said, a lot of the people that come here for HB1 visas, they're making a good salary. The lie that they're being underpaid and all that's a lie. And so what happens is I always break it down economically to people they don't understand. So you have a person that comes over, husband and wife, they're making at least 150, 200,000 a year. They'll be able to afford a nice home, whatever. So that causes the housing prices to go up. That's why you see, like, in places like Silicon Valley, parts of Washington, parts of Colorado, the housing prices have gone up. Okay, so then you go to the low income sector part. Okay, you try to get an apartment. Glider man, glider woman, black person, whoever, you're making, blue collar salary. Well, you can't get an apartment because that apartments have been taken over by refugees or other immigrants who are low income, and somebody's helping them pay their rent. And also, too, whether someone's helping them pay that rent or not, you have a group of people living in one apartment. They're able to
Right. There's
afford it.
15 people living in one little
Right.
apartment.
So they priced you out. And so you're on a waiting list. You can't get an apartment. For me, it's about fairness, right? If I continue to take you into my home, how does that make your home better? There's no incentive for these people to change. And granted, America needs to stop getting into these phony wars for bankers. You know who the bankers are. I'm not going to call their names, but you know who we're talking about. So we're causing a refugee crisis over and over and over again. I mean, how many times do we have to look and see? Each time we go to war, we destroy our own country.
But
We
AP,
can
let me
start
just cut
back
you.
with Vietnam. We
Let
can
me
start back. Hold
cut.
on 1 second. We can start back with Vietnam. Vietnam War. We brought all those Vietnamese people here, and I have no problem with Vietnamese people. Great people, but they changed the whole state of California.
Let me just cut you. Let me just
Yeah,
say
go
this
ahead.
right now because this is very important to say. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of these refugees who have been coming in the glider countries aren't really refugees. The majority of them have
Correct.
actually been going
Correct.
back taking vacations in the
Right.
countries that they're allegedly fleeing for their lives from.
Right.
So
And like I said, they come and supposedly fleeing for their lives, but at the same time they change our country to look like where they came from, and it's not always in the best. So,
but
and
they're
even
not
when we talk
they're not
about
even fleeing for their lives. They just want a free
right.
handout and they just want to take advantage of the gliders' naivete and generosity.
Well, some of
That's
them
exactly.
do not come for a handout. Some of them are actually working. They don't accept anything, and they do work. But my problem is, if I continue to bring you here, how does that make your country better? See, at one
Yeah,
time, you will have people that will come to the United States, come to Europe, they'll get their education, and they'll go back home. These people are not going back home, so your country is not getting better. So, I mean, how many times do I have to keep bringing you in? And then a lot of people don't understand what's happening in Europe. If you travel through France, you travel through Germany and parts of Sweden, you actually see with your own eyes. And especially if you go there, like I went, for instance, France, I went back in the 1990s. Even just going back in the 2000s, it was totally different. And it's like, whoa, this is not right. UK, same thing. And so then, okay, you bring all the Jamaicans in, you bring all the Muslims in, they change the whole neighborhoods around. And then let's keep in mind, some of these people are hostile to us.
Oh, they
and
hate us.
All of them
another
are,
thing,
Right.
not some of
another
them.
another thing is that, like, going back to what you're saying, they're not going back to their old countries, the educated people. It creates a brain drain in those countries. Most of those people aren't going to be able to come to the West, so they're going to need as many of those educated people to stay there as possible to try to do whatever they can to make those countries a little bit better. But
No,
like
but hold on. That's like
that brain
still
drain, huh?
hold on. That's a cuck argument though, because at the end of the day, you're still appealing to like, racial fairness. Oh my God, I don't want to take these people because we'll brain drain these poor Muslim people in our own country. Why can't it just be fuck Muslim people? You don't belong here. Fuck you.
Yeah, they're the victim in that
Like, what's
scenario.
with the cuck arguments? I don't understand why there's people like we're still in this context of being not racist, being nice, just being a Democrat but driving the speed limit type of thing.
No, my
Let me
It's
problem
let me
is the
hold
birth
on, hold on,
rate. My
hold on.
problem is the birth rate.
let me
It's
read
too
this.
many of them.
Let me read super chat. Um, I mean, let me shout out Mark Ishmael. Salute to Mark Ishmael. Please support the channel if you enjoy. If you enjoy the content, man, the conversation, man. Um, take the $5 challenge. Support the program. Support the show. Got a lot of people from all over the world, well, all over the country talking about this, man. A lot of different viewpoints. You don't have to be woke. You don't have to care about how black people are going to feel, how Mexicans are going to feel. You're allowed to say whatever you want over here.
It's a
Um,
truth channel.
so support the channel.
And money makes eyes and ox stay open.
Yeah, yeah, money, yeah, yeah. Super chats, keep me awake, man. They give me something to do. Super chats give me something to do to keep me awake. Go ahead, guys.
I had to
So
say, the financial aid issue, like governmental aid to Africa and shit. It's like, oh, we're helping them, equity, but they just end up dependent on you, and it's just a
but
mess.
no, no,
It's
no. My
actually
argument is
creating this
this. My
issue
my
because
argument is a my
because
argument is a biological one. The thing about it is we have, even in the animal kingdom, certain animals survive because they evolve. Certain animals die off because they did not. And what happens is when there's a shortage of resources, you're going to have a die off period. The problem that we have done in these African countries, and not just Africa, Middle East, what's going on in Gaza right now, we should not be giving them any aid. They need to figure it out for themselves.
I'm
Okay?
just going to say this right now.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
us giving aid, KB, us giving aid to these people actually created a population growth, which is leading to more resources being used up, and now they're coming into glider countries. That's what I'm trying to say. This financial, it all comes down to this financial aid shit.
Yeah,
You know,
she's
like I
saying
mean,
don't do that, dude. She's
And
yeah, I
saying
so
know.
don't
much
give
of
any
that
aid.
financial aid goes to corruption.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
true.
And we can say the same thing here in the United States. We've had the so-called war on poverty since like the 1960s or something. Have we conquered poverty yet?
We
We've
killed
made
it.
it worse. We've made it worse.
You're saying survival of the fittest, right, AP?
Pretty much.
Yes. And my thing is, even with survival of the fittest, I'm all for uh uh like even here, United States, giving out birth control. I'm willing even to pay the people of the poor and the lower class, and it's been done before for them not to have children. There was a president in Peru who did the same
That's
thing.
what abortion's for.
He sterilized many populations. I forgot the native people's names, because he said they were living in utter poverty and they kept producing more children they could not afford. And so in order for them not to be on the burden on this country of Peru, he had a lot of them sterilized. And it was a good thing. Look at what happened in China, one child policy. But look at
Hitler did it
us,
too.
Yeah, he did. But he also, what Hitler did was he encouraged the best of the people to have more children.
And that
He
one
had to use.
child policy is at a negative also. You got to remember the die off rate, how there's no females for those males to marry.
Yeah, it's going to create a population collapse too. So
Well, that's because they did that. They're the ones that decided to abort their daughters. They didn't have to abort their daughters. They did that. They
Well,
could
they
have,
could only have one. And in their society, only the male is worth anything.
that's a societal problem.
Hey, but at least they don't let the Muslims in, right?
Right?
Well,
No, but
the
that's the
reason the
thing.
male is important is because the male carries the father's name.
But that's what they're doing with the Uyghurs. Do you know that that's what they're doing? They're having their soldiers stationed in their homes, and what they're done is the Uyghurs are a problem because they were not under the one-child policy. So now they put the men in re-education camps, and we all know what happens to the women that are left alone in the home if soldiers are stationed there. So China does not have a problem with not getting women. They have a source of women, and they're also going to Vietnam marrying women as well. So that's not a problem.
Yeah, but
And
they're
if
not
you
Chinese
notice,
women.
right,
There's a lot. They don't like the Vietnamese. They're considered a lower species.
They
but
have a lot of bad blood
they're
with the
still breeding
Vietnamese.
with them. There are groups of
Definitely.
Vietnamese that are Chinese Vietnamese.
Well,
They're
a guy
not
would hump a
pure.
rock
They're
if it had a
Chinese.
wet
Yeah,
spot.
yeah. But
Yeah.
LA is
So
a dump anyway.
anybody else wanna chime in, man? Anybody else that joined the panel?
Hey,
We
Pantheon's in the chat. Get on the
Where's
panel.
man.
LA at, man? LA's a big ass place. We got anybody from LA on the in the chat?
LA is a dump. I don't know if you guys ever been there, but it's like a third. I mean, if you go to the Disneyland there, it's disgusting. It's hot. It's dirty. Um, it's if
Smells
a
like piss and
nuclear,
baby diapers.
Yeah,
yeah, if a
I fleed that
bomb
place
hit, it,
about
it
5 years ago.
right. But this goes back to once again the demographic change. LA back in the 1950s, 1960s was beautiful.
Well,
It
Compton was a
had its
white suburb.
issues. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what happened.
Salute to Douglas Chunks, man, supporting the channel. Heavy 50 Ock Nation memberships, man. We should make this a thing members only, man. Support the channel, man. And we don't want to go members only tonight. Make sure y'all support the channel. Support the channel. Um, Continue to support the channel. Shout out to Douglas Chunks sponsoring the show. Now,
So I've been with family the last few days. I'm out of the loop. What exactly are they writing about?
They they're Mexicans and they don't want to go back to Mexico.
right. They're being
So,
forcibly sent back to Mexico.
mm,
And it's not them. I mean, it's like the ones that came illegal.
But the funny thing is, what they never, the questions they never answer is a lot of them people have been here for over here for years, have had children here and everything else. You didn't go to a lawyer and try to get your papers,
Mm-mm.
and we're
Because
supposed to like the
here's
story
the
you
thing,
did the other night. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
AP. Here's the thing. If maybe if you're thinking like, okay, I'm here illegally. If I go get a lawyer, try to go to court and whatnot, maybe that'll put me on the books. And then now the clock starts ticking because now I have a date and now my immigration process has started and I could possibly be rejected my claim. You know what I'm saying? And they may want to, so it's like when you're living off when you're not even on the books, there's a freedom to that. And under the last administration, you could live like that. Under
A
the
privilege.
yeah, so it's kind of like I
The
mean,
last 6 or
like
7 administrations.
yeah,
And I mean,
you're better
yeah,
off. You're better off like just not going in because once you go in, now they say okay, within 2 years this immigration process is going to be done, and we're going to determine whether you stay or leave. And it's like, damn, I
I
was
think
fine.
you're
I was
I
living
think you're
good just
overthinking it, dude. Like
before
I
I
grew
did
up
that.
around these people.
Go ahead.
They're just comfortable. They don't need
No,
to
I
do
get
it.
it. I get it. But what I'm saying
Like they
is
created
that
this
at the
enclave
same,
where everything's in Spanish and all the
mhm.
stores are in Spanish. You're the weirdo if you don't speak Spanish. Like they don't need to do that, you know?
and
Right?
that's
No,
the
I got that.
problem.
I got
That's the
that. Yeah, I got
problem.
that. Yeah, definitely got that. But all I'm saying is that but even if you do, let's just say you do, right? Let's say you do want to go ahead and shore it up and say, you know what, I don't want to be living, this life where any moment, I could be taken and deported. I want some stability. I want to go do it the right way. I want to go and get a lawyer and get the immigration process started to become a legal citizen. If you do that, now the clock starts.
Yeah, I got a family friend who was going through that process. Like she was brought here illegally when she was a little girl, and it took her damn near 10 years to get that process completely done. You know,
She
Right.
so
couldn't
it's
find
a
some
lot of
guy to
fucking
marry
work.
in 10 years.
Well, that wasn't an option for
Is
her.
she hideous? If she's
Fuck
hideous,
that.
get her out. She's got to go. We can't have
Yeah.
ugly people and dumb people.
I'm not
Exactly.
saying she should have been here. I'm just saying how it was.
So tell us about your Mexican experience, man. You say you lived around it, man. What was it like?
Well, you're just alienated, dude. Like I was there was like 10 white kids in my graduating class and there was like 600 of us, you know? we were we were just oh, sorry. I got a baby right here.
They call you gringo.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much, man. But yeah, you just, I just felt like a alien in my own country. So, like 5 years ago, we moved to the whitest place we could find.
Where's
Idaho
that?
You guessed it, man.
nailed it.
Wow. When the last time you seen a black guy in Idaho?
Dude, they're coming, man. But at first, when I first got here, I didn't see any, but now they're coming. They're all coming from Washington.
Okay, so what kind of black people? Like American blacks or
Like
Somali?
yeah, like well both. But like ghetto ass. Like yesterday I was in the downtown area around here and some fucking sun man and a couple of wiggers were like screaming and making a fuss and tagging on the walls and shit. And we don't see that around here. But it's like it's starting to spread all of a sudden. Like
And
Wow.
if society
My
would jump in,
condolences.
the ones and dude, and it's like the one sun man, he's here and he's fucking tagging. And then I was at Chuck E. Cheese yesterday. The one sun kid is like jumping on shit and making everything a jungle gym. And I'm like, I try and I don't want to be that racist, but they make it real easy to be that racist, you know?
Right.
And do you
Right.
notice they do that a lot of stuff just to be seen? Like you could be at the airport and you hear a loud voice, loud talking on a cell phone. It's either a burrito or a sun person. I was at the gym the
Some
other day,
person.
loud talking on the cell phone the whole time. I'm like, who's this talking? Umbrita. They're coming out here now too. And I'm like, what the hell? This is a gym. No other person does this. It's always A or B.
And that kind of stuff
And
doesn't
then if
compute
you
with white people. Like
right, and
it's
then
just
if you
not in
give them the
our,
dirty look, then they'll say, you're being racist. You're being out of place. But it's like you can't behave. Why do you always have to disrupt everything?
Mhm. We do
Can't
that
you
out
just
here though as Indians. Like Indians are fucking everywhere.
feather or dot.
Dot.
Oh,
the
Like
problem with
they're
the
running out of
dots, and
stores.
the problem with the dots, I can tell, even though I'm half dot, is that dots are lazy. The problem you have them move in your nice community, nice area, and they don't like to pick up behind themselves. Their kids are famous for throwing trash around and they won't pick it up. They feel like cleaning up is below their status. They
Wow.
don't understand their
well,
environmental part.
in their
Go ahead.
country, the lower class do that for them. They
Correct.
they
Correct.
Or
police
they
the
don't do that. I
garbage.
mean, look at their country.
Well, their country's
It's
fucking
a literal
disgusting.
trash can.
It's a
Yeah, they just
literal trash can.
throw
Correct.
everything on the ground. Right.
They don't
Yeah.
understand the environment that, hey, one piece of trash leads to another piece of trash, leads to another piece of trash. Pick it up. It doesn't matter whether you dropped it or not. I don't understand that concept. And even living around East Asian, Chinese, another one, disgusting. They spit on the ground. For nothing for them to be out there running or something and you see them spit on the ground. That's how you can always tell mainland Chinese from Singapore or Taiwanese. Chinese are nasty. They're filthy.
Wow.
Do they chew
So when you
tobacco?
talk about so when you talk about ethnic groups that come, you have to there even I don't even like the category of Asian. What are you talking about? South Asian, East Asian, Japanese, Korean. The government has a way of grouping groups together, but not all groups are the same. And
But you
even
see how
within those groups,
complicated
that's
shit gets with
class.
diversity? Like this is so
Right. It's that's why I say
complex.
you have to just throw it out the
Yeah,
window. It's trash.
it doesn't
If you
work.
can't
Like
conform
moral of
to
the
what
story, it doesn't
laws
fucking
are,
work.
right. If you can't conform to what the laws of the country are or what is set, then you just need to just I believe it's just tossing you out in the garbage.
That's why
And
it
what's
used
Well,
to
then
be
tell
happening
us.
only the best were allowed in.
That like this is why I want to say like Wicked was saying, oh, but if the Umbritos were like we're still here, there wouldn't be as much increase in crime. But it's not just crime. Like
that's not true.
Asians,
That's not true.
I'm just saying this. Asians don't commit as much crime. They also are very industrious. They're also like the Japanese, the Koreans. Like you could have a million Japanese move in to Seattle, and like they'll turn into a great society, but it won't be Seattle like it used to be. You know what I mean? Culture matters,
And
and
they
that's what
stay
I
I'm
among
would be down
themselves.
for that.
Right. Right. And it's not all the Asians are the same. Like for
They're not.
instance, if you live around Vietnamese people, they like to gamble. You're gonna have some prostitution. You will have some numbers games. You're gonna have domestic violence. That's just part of the culture
And they
thing. But
like
they
drugs
keep it
too.
among themselves.
Yeah.
But your cars are safe. They won't break into your house or your cars. That's safe.
Look,
Or
I'm a plumber and I go into people's houses every day, and there's this like Korean slumlord, or I think she's Indonesian. She's an Indonesian slumlord, and she rents out to all these different Indonesians, and she has all kinds of properties. Those are the only properties I go to where I see roaches. Like they're all infested, and the houses, they feel like a swamp, and they're just fucking disgusting people. Like I don't see that with any other race. It's only these people for some reason.
You're a
Bro,
They
braver
sleep
man
on the
than I
floor
not
with
am.
the roaches.
I,
It's
I, I
fucking
can't be
insane.
a plumber. You're a brave motherfucker.
Yeah, culture does matter, but culture is also based off of DNA. So, you know,
I've been
that's what I'm
stabbed. I've been shot. I've never been a plumber.
It
but
washes
even when
off.
you look at
How'd you get
DNA,
shot, Bill?
What's that?
Shot. How'd you get shot? What happened?
Oh, the first time was my cousin.
Just
He
some
shot
good
me
old boys, yeah.
by accident. We were hunting rabbits, and he tripped and fell and hit his gun, and his gun went off, and it skipped off the ground and hit me in the gut.
The second one you were putting it in your waistband, you shot yourself.
No, the other. Let's see here. One, two. Yeah, the other two times were in Africa.
You
the
in the
hell
war?
you doing in
Yeah,
Africa,
what the fuck are
Bill?
you doing there?
Military, right?
Sort of.
Sort of.
What the fuck? What?
Uh, Legally, I'm not sure how much I can say.
Oh, okay. You want
You
secret
meet
mission?
any Rhodesians?
No, in Sierra Leone.
Oh, okay.
say no more. But
I
AP,
was
what were you?
attached. My passport says I was attached to a ornithologist as a helper. So I took one in the gut, both in my plane, and then the other one came up through my plane and hit me in the arm. Here's the scar from the arm one. I don't know if it's showing up or not. It's a little round 30 caliber hole. And then another 30 caliber hit me in the belly a different time.
Mm.
But AP, what were you going to say about DNA?
no, what I was going to say is when you travel around the world, you'll notice the DNA, it does pop in your mind. You can't help but notice it. And even when you look at it, even, you travel throughout Europe, even among the white race, the Nordic Europeans, most advanced. They have the lowest crime, their most advanced civilization compared to, like, say, like the Slavs. And that's due to different interwars and different things like that that's happened. Um, you even look at United States or Australia versus Norway, Sweden. The amount of crime that Australia has, and this is just even before immigration, just among whites, is staggering compared to other Nordic countries. So that's what goes back to what I was saying earlier. If you want to build a better society, it has to start with DNA.
No, without a shadow of a doubt.
You have to breed a better people to create a better society. And that's what I say. And those are hard truths that nobody wants to talk about.
Yeah,
But
that's a very
psychologists
hard
and
truth.
scientists knew it years ago. That's the reason why the whole eugenics program came about. So eugenics gets a bad name because of World War II. But eugenics has been around for centuries.
It
Royals,
has.
even right.
Like I was going to say, I read a book about, I think, or read parts of a book by a psychologist named Richard Lynn, who was a big social psychologist, and he was a major proponent in the ethno DNA differences, especially when it comes into cognition. He said, like in the old ages, in the 1700s or something like that, like you would find dead babies in the trash all the time because these poor people, they couldn't take care of them, and after a while,
Right.
like the amount of poor, like like the rich, they eventually, those rich populations eventually completely replaced those poor populations.
Have you
Like,
ever heard of Jane Addams? Jane Addams. Jane
no.
Addams was a woman that you probably have heard of, Hull House. And when people talk about eugenics, they always try to make it a racial thing. Like, oh my God, they want to kill off all the blacks and all the non-whites. No, no, no. This woman, look her up, Jane Addams. This is way before the time of birth control, even before the time of Margaret Sanger. She advocated that. She said the Irish, the poor Irish that were coming here to the United States, because this is the height of the immigration during the 1800s, they were having too many children, them and Italians. And she advocated and said that white Anglo-Saxons could not survive with the degradation of these people breeding, because they were outbreeding the local population. So that is my argument always to people who try to make it a racial thing. It's not a racial thing. Everybody knows that DNA matters. It's just that because that through false religion, Christianity, and through our, I would say the psychologist has come later, whether through financial or whether through good intentions. We have to accept everybody. I mean, even the Spartans, if you were deformed, they left you out there for the wild animals. I don't advocate for that, but if we can use science to build a better people, why not? Because if we don't do it, other people are already doing it. I don't know if you've looked at the DNA research that China is doing right now.
Oh
They're going to
yeah.
beat us to it. And so by us bringing in all these third worlders of low IQ, and also encouraging through welfare and other programs of the lower classes to have more children, our pyramid is being destroyed. It's only going to be because the rich are always going to
Ark,
be in the
wake up.
hierarchy.
What you talking about? I'm listening to what you guys saying. Go ahead.
Keep
The
going,
rich are
AP.
always going to be able to produce themselves. They're always going to be top. But for the rest of us, it's the marriage population is going to get slimmer and slimmer. I mean, go out here and look at these young people out here. Would you want to marry one of them? I mean, you have a guy who's walking around in Crocs, no muscle. I mean, you look at a lot of the young guys now, they don't take care of themselves, flabby. I mean, what kind of outcome is he going to have? Mindset is off. You have a female that's been sleeping with several guys. It's, I don't know. I don't know where the population is going.
Fisherman,
I
what do you
don't
think
know.
about all this? Sorry, I thought he was going to hear it.
Fisherman's in here. Fisherman's
Yeah,
in
he's in.
here.
I see his icon.
Hmm. I mean, yeah, it's all true what y'all are saying.
I remember I asked my grandfather, I said, what about all these dumb kids? Because I was upset that they were taking away my lawn darts. And all the dumb kids were getting killed by the lawn darts. We got all these safe cars and car seats and bicycle helmets. So these kids that aren't getting killed stepping out from between cars because they're stupid. They're not throwing up lawn darts and trying to catch them with their eyelids. So they're not getting died off. They bred now for the past 50 years. And so you got stupid people breeding, making stupid kids who are breeding, making dumber kids. It's like doing a Xerox copy of a Xerox copy of a Xerox copy. It gets weaker and weaker. Same thing happens to your society.
It's like the movie Idiocracy. You know what I mean? It's becoming real.
Yeah, that was a movie. Now it's a documentary.
It's all planned. It's not random.
No, it's definitely not.
Yeah. So press one if you want to move on to some news, man. Press two if you don't.
One.
Yeah, these Antifa Mexicans are boring.
Pantheon, if you're in the chat, come join us on the panel.
Or not.
Jeez.
That girl could read a phone book. I just like her voice.
Um.
Morning, morning.
Let's see. Let's see what we got here. What we got going on? Everybody hit the like button. Support the channel via PayPal, Cash App, or the Super Chat, guys. Uh, let's see what's going on around the country. Let's see what's going on around the country.
In tearful silence, they stand to bring light to a family enveloped in darkness. In cases like this, there are often no words. 15-year-old Ajane Brooks, known simply as Nay, killed by gun violence. The Bellevue High School freshman's vice principal remembers her.
White people are just like,
Yo,
I
Bellevue
mean,
is a nice place. So talk about like the minority standing out. Here you
so
go.
she probably came from a good family then that was able to have the bees to move around some white people.
The only people that
Either that
survived
or
were
they were
white
in some
people.
affordable housing complex.
Is this a private school or public school?
It's a public school, but it's
Yes.
probably the nicest public school in the state.
15-year-old Ajane Brooks, known simply as Nay, killed by gun violence. The Bellevue High School freshman's vice principal remembers her infectious spirit.
Yeah, Nay was just a force of love.
Ajane went missing from Snoqualmie, where she lived with her family, on May 30th. One day later, she was found dead 40 miles away in the city of Shoreline.
It's as hard as it gets, I think. We shouldn't lose our young people, especially like this.
The case is shrouded in mystery. The medical examiner's report reveals Ajane was shot in the head and neck, but very little else. Her death ruled a homicide, but where it happened remains unknown.
We're sad and we're confused and angry for the loss.
Out of respect for the grieving family, we were asked not to photograph them. Friends have set up an online fundraiser so the teen's parents can have her buried in Georgia. Ajane leaves behind 3 siblings, a big brother, and 2 little sisters. She also leaves behind a community struggling to comprehend how something like this could have happened to someone who was so deeply loved by so many.
It's a young person who made a profound impact on everybody she knew. She cared. She cared a lot about the people that she loved.
We reached out to the King County Sheriff's Office for more information about this case, and they declined, except to say that the investigation is active and sensitive. If you have any information, you are urged to reach out to them. In Bellevue, Eric Wilkinson, King 5 News.
Wow. We'll have to follow up on that story, man. I'm interested to see who killed her.
Police aren't going to do shit.
There is a push for answers in Montgomery County today after 3 high school students died in a crash. A 4th was hurt. It happened during a police pursuit. Authorities say they were following that car because the teens inside had allegedly shoplifted from a nearby Target. Action News reporter Chad Bradelli spoke with the grand.
Okay, so now this is going to be a big problem because the police were involved. So now the sons get to, they get to act out. It's not
They
a
were only
son.
they were only stealing.
Yeah. chase police. Now they're going to try to ban police chases in that city, which is going to make crime go even higher.
Quadruple.
Grandmother of one of those teens. He's live at that crash site in Limerick with the latest today. Chad.
Yeah, Brian, we're here in the 300 block of Ridge Pike. The crash happened just behind me. You can see where those stuffed animals and balloons are. The vehicle crashed into that retaining wall. You see those two ladies? That is the aunt and mother of Gabriel Cooper. Just spoke to them also moments ago. They're devastated by what happened on Tuesday night. And I also spoke to the grandmother of another victim.
It's hard. It's very hard for me to get through this, but I have to continue on pushing forward.
The grandmother of Nasir Yoke says her grandson held a special place in her heart.
He had a beautiful smile. He had a wonderful personality. He had younger siblings. He was very helpful.
The 17-year-old was killed along with his friends Gabriel Cooper and Sanaya Nuswan after allegedly shoplifting at this Royersford Target Tuesday night. This is video from a nearby business of the chase that followed. An unnamed 15-year-old remains in critical condition at Temple University Hospital. Dispatch received 3 911 calls around 9 p.m. reporting a theft in progress. Police responded. When they arrived, the teen sped off. The family questions why police gave chase for a crime like shoplifting. You know, teenagers do dumb things.
They do.
I mean, but any sort of culpability for speeding off at a high rate of speed, though?
Right, I mean, like, I don't know what they probably was scared.
Police departments here in Pennsylvania have discretion on their pursuit policies. It's unclear what is the policy of the Limerick Police Department. It had no comment as the Montgomery County District Attorney's Office investigates the pursuit and the crash. It, too, had no further comment today.
And I'm pleading with everybody, keep your kids close. Know what they doing.
And again, the mother and aunt of one of the victims, Gabriel Cooper, just arriving here on scene. They're taking a look there. They were just hugging, obviously a lot of tears. I'm told all of the victims lived in the same apartment complex in Spring City, and there will be a balloon release tomorrow afternoon. I'm live in Limerick. Chad Pradelli, Channel 6 Action News.
Chad, thanks for the update.
New guy is in the back. And apparently nobody understands that this is me, Fisherman, aka Tega Yomone.
I see.
Tell him what my name was the other night, Doc.
Whoa, some shit.
In tearful silence, they stand.
Wyan NyQuil, my Heisman, the trophy.
Dude.
I love you, says man. Oh man.
Let's see. It's a lot of ice stuff. Yeah, this stuff is gonna spread. It's gonna spread to other cities, man, and it's just gonna be a big fucking problem, man. Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna have Wicked on the streets protesting.
Look.
They're gonna want to riot, and he's gonna be like, "No, guys, we gotta chill."
That's your butt buddy, Fisherman.
Fells Point residents are wanting action from their leaders after what they call an escalating breakdown of public safety.
There's a lot of pleas from the local business people and families to increase security, and I don't see a lot of it.
One resident who's been a repeat victim of crime sending her frustrations and demands directly to her city council member in hopes that things will change. In Fells Point recently,
It makes me very angry and sad.
a sense of anger and disappointment from residents aimed at city leaders.
I'd like them to acknowledge it more and not turn a blind eye or make up an excuse or put out that there's less crime. That is a false reality, I believe.
Another resident who doesn't believe crime in Fells is down. This resident, seen in this surveillance video, she was assaulted and her husband robbed in front of their Fells Point home. She sent a very lengthy email to her council member, Mark Parker of District 1. It begins with, "I was the woman whose hair was set on fire by juveniles in front of my home. That traumatic event, while horrifying in its own right, is sadly not isolated." The letter goes on to say, there is a, quote, breakdown of public safety and quality of life in the area, like noise violations.
It's getting worse. You see the motorcycles in the street constantly, packs of them, 6, 7, 8. It just disrupts traffic. It makes life uncomfortable.
And it's not just residents sounding the alarm.
Over and over again, the same thing is going to keep on happening.
Business owners are speaking out after an early Friday morning shooting.
This happened at 3:30 in the morning.
An 18-year-old and a 20-year-old were shot shortly after a fight near the square.
Took aim at the male and female at the location and ran for this location after he fired a couple of rounds.
Rhea Woods' boutique was struck by one of the bullets.
I was just thinking, God forbid we went out in this area last night. It was just terrifying to think that you can walk into a scary situation and you might not make it out.
That shooting comes just months after these shots ring out, just a block away. In that shooting, a 19-year-old and a 16-year-old were shot. At the time, this business owner sharing her concerns.
This area is not very safe. A lot of young kids fighting, so the business is down.
Meanwhile, back to the email to Councilmember Parker, the resident directly asking him, quote, "What are you doing to address these issues? What immediate steps are being taken to restore order and protect the rights of residents?" Fox 45 sent our own questions to Parker, asking, have you responded to the questions sent to you by your constituent? Do you plan to work with Baltimore police to address the issues mentioned? Have you personally visited the Fells Point area recently to see the issues mentioned for yourself? So far, we have not yet heard back. Meanwhile, for residents, a sense of sadness for what they say Fells Point has become.
There are a lot of residents and businesses here that are doing a wonderful job in trying to make a beautiful neighborhood and a safe neighborhood for families, and it's just very, very sad.
Boy, she's got a hard N-word.
Email to Councilmember Parker on our website.
The sun rot is spreading.
Just go to foxbaltimore.com or download the Fox 45 News app.
I'm Mary Bubala. Thank you for watching. Here's another video for you to watch. Also take some time to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Hawk, you there, boss?
Yes.
Yeah, I think he's there.
You guys done? All right. Yeah.
He's been there the whole time.
Only on 6, a suspected
suspected serial
killer in Miami accused of killing 2 people and trying
he
to kill a third
shooter?
was ruled incompetent last year and was sent to a state mental health hospital for treatment. But tonight, the man is out of the hospital and on his way to trial. NBC6 reporter Christian Colon has the latest from court and how the ultimate punishment could be on the table.
Making another short video for you about real estate. This one is going to be
on social media. Willie Maceo promoted himself as a real estate agent, helping future home buyers with advice
on buying a home. It is to make sure that you know what amount, how much property can you acquire.
But at night, prosecutors say Maceo was caught on video attacking the vulnerable by shooting and killing them.
Find justice in this darkness that was committed by this anonymous killer who did this in the shadows. And now we brought this out to the light of justice.
Maceo was on his way to trial, but last May his mental health status placed the case on pause. Doctors found he needed treatment.
I need to send you to the state hospital. It might be a long time, it might be a short time. I'm going to ask that you please listen to the doctors.
But after a few months, Maceo came back and was found ready to stand trial. Today, prosecutors welcomed the alleged serial killer by indicting him for allegedly murdering 2 homeless people and trying to kill a third.
The state of Florida returned an indictment for 2 counts of first-degree murder.
Prosecutors also announced they plan to seek the death penalty.
Is the state seeking death at this time?
The state will be filing the intent to seek that out.
Maceo has always denied the allegations.
I haven't made no offense. I haven't violated no one's right. However, lies have been, and it's just not right. It's just not right.
And state attorneys say the plan is to file the notice of seeking the death penalty very soon. Maceo has pleaded not guilty. In Miami, Christian Colon, NBC6 News.
Well, a Ridge man is accused of killing his ex-girlfriend. Police say it was all over money. Rebecca Roth was found shot to death inside her vehicle yesterday morning at the Tall Oaks luxury apartments in Mauritius. The victim's mother spoke exclusively to our News 12's Carmen Grant.
Oh yeah, we did this last night. We did this one last night. This is the we did that last night.
If you're lucky enough to fool enough psychologists to where the court deems you unfit to stand trial, you need to keep painting poo-poo pictures. And, for 30 years or something. You just paint a couple shit pictures.
New tonight, we have learned the Bibb County Sheriff's Office arrested a woman they believe robbed a West Macon credit union. The Robbins Financial branch on Log Cabin Drive shut down for the day after 37-year-old Sydney Lachey Bryant allegedly entered with a young child and robbed the bank. She's now facing 3 charges, including armed robbery. Carmen Brown shares more.
It's the kind of crime that stops you in your tracks. A woman, a child dressed as Spider-Man, and a bank robbery. Sheriff's Office says that played out Wednesday morning just after 9. They say a woman dressed in all black, hoodie up, face masked, walked into Robbins Financial Credit Union off Log Cabin Drive. She was carrying a small child. They say she allegedly handed the teller a note saying she was armed. Moments later, cash in hand, the woman left with the child and drove away in a white Nissan. The sheriff's office says no one was hurt and did not say how much money she got. Customers were left shocked.
And the police turned me around at the door, told me I couldn't come in. So I know it was a robbery. So I just went to the teller and just left.
And all day long, people have been pulling up to the bank only to find a sign on the front door that reads closed due to an emergency. Now, while the lobby might be off limits, as you can see, people are still able to use the ATM out front. After searching for hours, police later arrested 37-year-old Sydney Lachey Bryant Wednesday afternoon near the 4300 block of West Highland Drive. Bryant now faces 3 charges: armed robbery, cruelty to children in the first degree, and willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. According to the FBI, there were just over 1,200 bank robberies nationwide in 2023, a decline from previous years. And over the years, very few were committed by women, just 7% in 2016. In Macon, Carmen Brown, 13 WMAZ News.
Brian is currently being held at the Bibb County Law Enforcement Center without bond. The sheriff's office says they also located the child. The child was safe and unharmed.
Hey, first of all, that news anchor's head is impressive. And second of all, that woman should get life for bringing her little baby to a bank robbery.
She couldn't find a sitter, man. That's why she was robbing the bank. Oh, wow.
7 got killed in Chicago last night.
Oh, wow. Let's see what the news is saying.
Well, in kind of the midst of all of this. Lori, where are you at?
Yeah, so this is a really intense situation. So we are on the corner of, this is Main, and what is this? Mojo, do you know what this is? I'm sorry, I don't know, but we are right near the Chevron station. Oh, Cesar Chavez and Main, and things are really out of control. You can see a group of kids now are throwing rocks. I think they're about to go into the Chevron and take it over. They've been throwing rocks at passing cars. There's a car on fire about maybe 100 yards from where we are, maybe 50 yards from where we are. Ooh! I don't know what's going on here, but
you could say it's lit.
I think the police are headed here because they see that.
Yeah, someone is doing donuts in the middle of the roadway there, a minivan.
And they're throwing rocks at the minivan.
Yes, and they're about to overtake this Chevron, I believe, because they've been throwing rocks and such into it, trying to break into it. This is a much younger crowd, I will note, a much younger crowd than the crowd that we first encountered when we first got on the scene with the demonstrators. A lot of amped up young teenagers around here and young men.
There is a minivan, Lori, that we're keeping our eye on that was doing donuts in reverse and now is driving very erratically. That person also throwing things out of the window. Take a look. They're trying to make their way into the Placita Olvera Street area.
This
And this could be a
dude's
very dangerous
drunk.
situation. We don't know who is behind the wheel of this minivan here or what their intentions are.
Oh, you know what?
That is
Can you go
Olvera
back?
Street. That's
Can
Placita
you guys?
Olvera.
Right. Can you guys see? Can you see the fire? Can you see the car on fire in the middle of the road?
It's a trash.
Oh, it's a trash can.
bin.
I'm sorry, it's a trash can.
Yeah, we can see that trash can on
that's just,
fire. We do want to keep our eye on this
Look at
minivan
that.
that's driving through sidewalks right now. Mike, this is a very dangerous
It is.
situation.
Oh my gosh.
And they're totally in a pedestrian area. They've almost hit a couple of pedestrians. You've got the fire on the right-hand side of the street. I mean, this is very, very quickly transitioned into chaos in multiple parts of downtown. You've got
Yes.
fire at First and Spring. You've got this really hectic location where Lori
Turn
is at.
around.
And now you've got this minivan that is driving through pedestrian areas with absolutely no regard to anybody. The right side of your picture is now Lauren Posen's live shot where that fire is growing in size as well.
My concern is this
Yeah, I
current
mean, this
minivan
is,
that's just,
Look
you
at
know.
Look out! Look
Just
out!
ran
Look out!
towards the
Look out!
crowd.
Look out!
Yeah, Lori, you're right by this minivan, right? You see that minivan?
Yes, he just came right at us. Just came right at us.
Lori should probably
Oh
get
my
away from
God.
that area. Yeah.
Driving in
Run,
reverse
bitch.
right now
Oh my
down the
God.
street. This person was throwing something out of the minivan, and we don't know who they are, how many people are in that minivan. But look, this crowd is now going towards it. Looks
What's
like a
wrong with
general
this
or a
person?
person without a shirt on.
Yeah, shirtless for sure. This is insane. I mean, this person is out to cause harm.
Yeah, and that can be a very scary
boy.
situation here. You can see now the people.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to.
Lori, be careful because that minivan's coming back your direction.
Back towards you.
Woo! Oh my God!
And the crowd is now
Okay,
chasing the
this is a
van.
bad situation, guys. This is.
Oh man.
Yeah,
God,
Lori,
this
we
is-
want you to
Lady
Lori
Gaga
should-
there.
Yeah. Look at this.
I mean, you got people chasing just straight up to the driver's side. I mean, I'm throwing things at the van.
That guy had a
This
dog.
person was driving, through the park right by Olvera Street. They were throwing stuff out of their vehicle, doing donuts in the middle of the roadway. And I don't know if law enforcement even
Accelerating
has an
around the
eye on this
corner.
person, but this is Union Station
Right.
now.
And I will tell you, Mojo just mentioned we had seen that same minivan up over near the overpass. It was the guy was leaning out of the window. He was, jawing at the police officers, jawing at CHP, and they kept trying to tell him to get out of there, get out of there. He just kept yapping and yapping. That's the same guy. So obviously something's happening with him. This is insanity. I don't even know what's
my God,
happening
he just
now.
hit
I mean,
that
look at this
bicyclist.
behind me. This is.
He clipped the back end of that bicyclist and the bicycle went flying.
Yeah, it's just zooming through here right now.
Yeah,
Just
that
parked
guy,
at
I
Union
think he's
Station.
on something, I don't know, but
He parked at Union Station briefly and then just fired the van back up and just kept driving and clearly going incredibly fast. I mean, my goodness.
This person doesn't
This
have a
guy's
shirt
ready to
on.
die.
They look highly agitated, and now you can see making their way through the back end of Union Station. They're gonna hit a dead end here, I think. No,
Or-
they're not.
or
They're gonna
a
keep
job
going.
site or train tracks right there.
There is a lot happening right now.
Yeah.
Almost hitting that law enforcement vehicle, that metro vehicle, and take a look, going into the parking lot here.
I think he's in the backside of Union Station now
Yeah.
because there's an Amtrak train right there.
Yeah, meanwhile, the dumpster fire is getting bigger right now. I mean, you almost want to say it's incredibly fortunate and lucky that nobody was hit head on by this
dumpster
minivan.
fire that is
Yeah, it's just
California, or
terrifying
just
to-
that
to
particular
look at right
dumpster
now
fire?
in a multitude of ways. Well, obviously all this on the right side of your screen is still going on as well.
Yeah, the right side is closer to where Lori was, closer to that Chevron station there on Alameda and Cesar Chavez. And we try to keep our eye on that minivan and that driver who was, it looked like driving very erratically. And we were afraid they were going to hit someone because at times they were driving on the sidewalk.
I feel like
So we'll
Cesar
keep our eye on this
Chavez
situation
is
if we
like
can find
the
that driver.
MLK. It's like
Well,
same
you
thing
know,
as Martin Luther King.
right?
And also the lack of the LAPD here, like no mention of them. Where the fuck are they?
Yeah, they got 15 helicopters flying around. One can't follow the van and get him pulled over.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I don't know that. Yeah, that pursuit you can't pursue in LA because you see it all the time. The pursuits on the highway. Yeah, so they can't pursue. Yeah, man. Make sure you support the channel via PayPal, Cash App, or Super Chat. Shout out to Barry B in the building. Yeah, man. This is what's going to start the week. The week starts with tomorrow. The week
Today.
starts and yeah, today. Salute to Eric S. Man, Ock Nation Hall of Famer. I'm gonna do once again. The week starts today, so we got. That's a good poll question, man. When do you guys think this is gonna be over with, man? What do you guys think? When do you guys think this is gonna finally like?
Well, I don't think the mainstream media has covered this at all, so that has to start first.
Well, tomorrow, The View, goddamn, Scott, what this so with Abby Phillips and shit. All them shows, Navarro, and all these people gonna be crying about it and shit. No ALC is gonna say something.
That basketball black guy with the hair that keeps moving backwards is going to talk about Stephen A. something.
Yeah, I
He
don't know
can
if he
eat
talks
shit.
about. He wants to run for president, but I don't know if he'll still talk about this on his podcast, but not on First Take. I don't think. Yeah, this is fucking very interesting. I you think we'll be talking about this Friday?
Yeah, I think there's enough. Just like Mexicans, they got the bodies. You're gonna hit the streets, and they're gonna fucking do this shit.
It's kind of like
Do donuts.
what the what the moderate Muslim is to the so-called extremist Muslim, the legal Mexican is to the illegal Mexican.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the legal Mexicans don't want the illegals here.
That's cope. Let's put that to bed, bro. That's
Yeah.
fucking cope.
Yeah. They othering them. They I think they other the illegal Mexicans because I think they're probably more likely to be the criminal element. But yeah, I don't think that they really like willing to fight. It's just like blacks with black fatigue. Like those blacks talk all that black fatigue shit. But as soon as a fucking white lady in Walmart sneezes and it sounds like the N word, they'll be fucking all wailing and falling out in the streets. So you can't really, rest your laurels on when they say, something that makes sense. Give it 5 minutes and they'll be talking some stupid woke shit.
I also think that the Sun community is gonna see this kind of chaos, and they're gonna get involved. It's gonna grow.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for. That's literally what I'm waiting for. The Sun people to co-opt it.
They are naturally attracted to these types of events, no doubt.
Any second now.
Yeah, I mean the victimhood. It's the victimhood that they get jealous when they see other people being victims. They just naturally get jealous.
And also it's just an excuse to like chimp out. That's the main thing. They just like to chimp out. So
well, I mean, yeah, but I mean I think that, they're gonna come at it not just chimping out. They're gonna like try to use it for political capital for them, just like
no doubt. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but most of the people on the ground aren't thinking that far ahead. They just see it as an excuse and an opportunity to raise hell without repercussions.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
Get a new
sons,
TV.
whenever we see a video that Ox shows us of like two sons fighting at a gas station, what happens? Like 10 other sons come and like make a circle to watch them. They just naturally like watching like kinetic warfare on the ground.
This one says, let me show you. Yeah, make sure. Let's see if we can get like 5 people to hit the to take the $5 challenge. I'm sure we can get about 5 people to take the $5 challenge, guys. I'm sure we can do that, man. I'm sure we can get 5 people to take the $5 challenge in the next 5 minutes, man. I'm sure we can get that, man. This guy says, black
They're
people,
guilt tripping the blacks.
black people, I need you to stop saying it's not our battle. When it comes to ICE, Africans and Caribbeans are getting detained too. We are one. 13th Amendment removal away from losing our citizenship.
Is that true? Really? That's great news.
I don't know if that we don't know if that's even true. The 13th. So who's gonna remove the 13th Amendment?
I'm for the 19th.
The KKK.
I'm for the 16th and the 19th. The
This
Federal
one
Reserve.
says, MAGA 2 months ago, mandatory 10 years in prison for anybody touching a Tesla. MAGA today. Oh shit. It says being black from Augusta doesn't automatically make Jordan an experiment on MLK any more than it makes her an expert on Tiger Woods. To say nothing of lecturing menswear guy about ICE protests when native-born lived experience only matters until oh my god, what the fuck? Let's see.
Bunch of gobbledygook.
Stop expecting black Americans to always be the superheroes for other minority groups. Y'all want us to sympathize with people who never cared to sympathize with us. It's time for black Americans to worry about our own community.
We like superheroes and shit.
Yeah, so you mean you weren't for the last 50 years? Is that what you're saying? Like, come on now.
Well, that Captain America just became black.
That's
So
right. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That matters, right? That'll stop people from being monkeys and killing each other.
Yeah. And the Little Mermaid. This was preventable. The LA Kafaya clad white neo-progressives protesting ICE would rather cosplay revolution than cast a fucking ballot for the black woman who warned them this would happen.
with a gay
They don't
flag.
want justice, they want clout. So this
Cool. Are you following?
They're mad. No. I just typed in what black people are saying about ICE. This one says
I gotcha.
Yeah. This one says, so here's the thing, black people can be migrants too. And are also targeted by ICE. Like this does concern us actually. So the tether, all the tether shit is going out the window now because they want to find a way to get on the main stage, you know? This is like the main stage. It's like it's a comic on stage killing it.
Well, round up the blacks and send them with a Mexican under each arm back to Africa.
Yeah, and the blacks are like, yo, they're looking at that shit, seeing the crowd laughing. And they're like, damn, that should be me up on stage. They're trying to figure, because all these people were talking about tethers 10 seconds ago. Tether this, tether that. FBA this.
Yeah,
FBA
that's a new
that.
one.
This shit is starting to, not hearing a lot about that right now. It's always the same pattern. Once immigrants get comfortable, they call black Americans lazy and powerless. But when ICE shows up, or the system turns on them, they come running for solidarity. No amount of finger wagging from performative black activists will make me care.
They got these like poetic ways of saying "fuck you."
Right. The ICE raids will literally benefit the United States for generations to come. For every criminal or illegal alien that gets deported, an American child is awarded the opportunity to achieve the American dream. And that's exactly the way it should be. Suburban black man.
He's probably as black as me.
This one says CNN on the ICE riots happening in Los Angeles.
Bill, you spend a lot of time in Africa. That makes you more black than them. Yeah.
Than Ock. Yeah, I was there for 3.5 years.
He got some babies over there, man.
No.
So there's unrest. Let's start with there's protest, lawful protest, which is allowed in this country. There is some unrest generally dealt with by local law enforcement, and if there needs to be state support through state police. And sometimes even National Guard under a governor's authority. What is happening tonight is unprecedented. So there's unrest.
Who would have thought CNN would be against Trump's interfering with this, man? Who would have thought? That ICE exists to dehumanize, deport, and destroy the lives of black and brown people. As long as it's in operation, we can't restore dignity to the immigration process. Democratic Representative Ilhan Omar had it right 5 years ago, and no one listened. Abolish ICE.
5 years before that, she married her brother.
Jeez.
To flaunt immigration law.
Doesn't she like fuck a white dude now?
Yeah, she's with a white guy.
Dude, that's so funny.
Yeah, she been with him for a while too. And here's the thing: she doesn't really hide him. Like they go places together and shit. It's like her husband and shit.
She needs him.
She's an activist in the streets, colonized in the sheets.
Yeah, she like AOC, you know, and they just, you know, they got their white dude with them, and Kamala, Ketanji, they just all like, and listen, man, more power to them, man. You know, we saw the chart the other day said that the black people that are with the black and what is it, Latino or people of color that are with white people have higher IQs.
Black and indigenous people
Are you saying you're
of
retarded?
color.
Are you saying you're retarded?
No, I'm just saying. Nah, I'm saying that like, if this don't work out, I already know what I'm doing.
You have like a booty radius minimum.
Yeah, man. Give me a white
Starting
gal.
a daycare.
Give me a white gal. Stat.
Bleach blonde with a big ass. Every black man's dream.
Let's see this guy. What is this guy talking about?
$10 says he sounds kind of
ICE is
gay.
finally coming to our city, Los Angeles. Raids going down today. Let's talk about that. You will not stop our votes count in our country. We voted for this. We don't care. Don't try to use your kids as a weapon to make Americans, the kids. You did that, you illegal parents. You brought your kids here illegally. You put them in that position. It's your fault. Take responsibility. Illegal immigrant children, blame mommy and daddy from crossing the border illegally. and destroying your future. Don't blame it on American laws and what we voted for. They broke the law. Your mom and dad are criminals. Okay? So I'm going to end it sweet with the LA raids. I'm glad they're happening, but you had zero stoppage, none, and you won't stop it. Our city will be cleaned up of all illegal immigrants. Keep trying to stand in front of cars. You think you're going to raid a federal building? Y'all going to jail, man. Hey, look, LAPD, they just watching. You think they don't know what's going on? They just watching y'all act a fool because they know they don't have to come out really too much and act sanctuary. Oh, LAPD ain't helping. We're not involved. They know what's going on, but they know you can't stop it. So don't let you act a fool and try to assault federal agents and just watch you all go to jail.
And hope
Look,
no one gets murdered.
the LA raids today was victorious. It showed you the power of ICE, and it shows you the weakness of illegal immigrant protesters. Megaphone, oh, don't sign this, don't that. And in the meantime, people are being detained, arrested, and deported, and you're not going to stop it. And I'm so grateful. This is our country. You ain't got no rights here, punk. Get the fuck out of my country. Call ICE on that fool. Raid the Home Depot. Home Depot. All y'all motherfuckers standing out think somebody gonna pick y'all up to work for some tax-free dollars. Them days is over, punk. Get the fuck out of my country. fuck y'all. LA raid. Good job, ICE. Tom Homan. Bring more. Get them more. Get more. Get the fuck out of my country, LA. Get the fuck
Get some
out of
drones
my country,
involved.
you illegal immigrants. Bye.
Thanks for the cash app, Bud Green.
Them Reaper drones out there blowing the bits.
Salute to Bud Green. He said, I've lived in LA my entire life, been victimized countless times, mostly theft. I'm so happy we are finally doing something about it. Stay that course. Shout out to Bud Green. Yeah, so that black guy, he's not trying to, he's definitely not.
You know what I hope doesn't happen though? Is that a 18-year-old glider teen goes out into the riots, hoping to help and put out fires, and then he ends up having to, murder some people. I hope that doesn't happen.
Oh, you talking about
Rittenhouse?
Salute to this guy right here says black people that are fine with what ICE are doing are not only evil but naive. What you think? We can't be next? A country that once enslaved us and never followed through with the promise would never do us dirty, huh? Yeah, okay. See, they're trying to they're trying to justify that all that FBA versus Tether shit is done for now. You know what I'm saying? Like when this is over, they'll go back to it. But for now, it's how can we figure out a way to weasel our way into this situation? This one says those federal ICE agents were scared shitless, running for their lives, and those were just rocks being thrown. Now imagine Marines shooting at many American citizens in the gun capital of the world. You have a provoking situation where blacks and whites can break in and loot.
I don't think that the Marines will be shooting at the U.S. population anytime soon.
Yeah. I feel that many African Americans have internalized this fictitious narrative that no one in the diaspora likes them. And as a result, there's this intentional denseness and ignoring of how ICE is impacting black immigrants in our family. ADOS FBA mentality showing up. Mm.
The way they talk is it's just super gay.
Yeah, they just fucking they literally can't stand not being the biggest victim. That's what this is about, man. I'm telling you, man. Someone else is on the stage. Someone else is receiving the applause of the crowd, the roar of the crowd. And we're just sitting there like, damn, that used to be me.
Well, they're hyper focused on race, so like they're yelling, "Oh, there's melanated people that are being deported," but it's like, who fucking cares?
They do, right? It's everything to them. Fucking race is everything. Let's see. Uh, yeah, man. This is the town hall, man. Everybody hit the like button. Everyone subscribe. If you're on Twitter, make sure you retweet this and also follow me on Twitter, X. If you're on YouTube, like this, share this, um, subscribe to the channel. Hopefully, you got one of the free memberships that Doug Chunks just gave out. Just donate it. This is the town hall, man. As you see, man, this is the town hall for conservatives, man. Even though there's other conservative channels, but they're not. It's not like this, man. So this is the town hall, man. So make sure you subscribe, man. We will be here covering this until there's a resolution to it.
I have 4 days left
Forever.
to report to ICE for my deportation. I got a letter in the mail from ICE to come in on June 5th to remove my ankle monitor. They randomly called me in 2 days before to come in for a case interview. I complied, and as soon as I went in, they handcuffed me, threw me against the wall, grabbed all my
Is
stuff
this
from
guy
my pockets,
Chinese?
threw it on the floor, and they put all my stuff in a bag.
Oh.
They told me I have no appeals pending, my case is over, and I'm being deported. However, I did remind them that I was under the Zepeda case. They left me in handcuffs for about an hour to verify if that was true. After confirmation, they told me to come back on the 12th, which is in 4 days. The past few days, it has been really stressful. I recently found out that my wife is pregnant. And amidst all the craziness and the chaos, I gotta say this is good news. But then I start thinking, like, I won't be there for my wife. I won't be there to hold my baby when he or she is born. So when I think about stuff like that, it really makes me sad. My new family is being torn apart before it has even had a chance to begin. We will be calling the governor's office tomorrow, emailing them, calling them, commenting on their page. I really thank you guys that have been supporting me and my wife since day one. But I know regardless of what happens, I know it's gonna be alright. I have 4 days left till I report to ICE for my deportation. I got a letter in the mail from ICE to come in on June 5th to remove my ankle monitor. They randomly called me in 2 days before to come in for a case interview. I complied, and as soon as I went in, they handcuffed me, threw me against the wall, grabbed all my stuff from my
What's he doing here?
Here it
Yeah.
is, folks.
Why did you break the country
Here's
or
the
break the
big,
law?
scary fucking LA protest. Look at that. Now you notice
You're a
when you
big,
see these
scary
videos
fucking
and there's all
person.
this chemical smoke and all these fires,
Fuck is
and you
that?
see all the cops and the National Guard in the background. Well, look, you don't see the cops and the National Guard here. Are there any chemical smoke and is there any fires? No. I wonder what the difference is. I wonder who's causing all that. Makes you think, doesn't
Good question.
it? Here it is, folks.
You guys, we are live from the 101 freeway in Los Angeles, California.
I ask you once again, if a government can declare your status illegal with no real reason other than made up claims that you are a criminal and that every single person that came from all different walks of life from all across the planet to the tune of 20 million are now overnight considered non-persons, non-citizens, and must be deported instantly to an El Salvador concentration camp with no due process, why the do you think this won't come for you inevitably? A government that does not entertain the humanity of all people, even those who are waiting in line to become legal asylum seekers, so they are technically legally on U.S. soil awaiting their court date. A government that just decides we're switching that off and now you're all enemies of the state. A government that does that will come for you as well and will say the exact same things about you as well and me, all of us. So what you do in this moment matters because this is basically training for when it comes for you. This is community organizing and mass
It already
mobilization
came for
that will
you.
be an absolute necessity. It's an absolute necessity right now. And one day it'll be an absolute necessity to protect you as well. I ask you once again, if a government can declare your status illegal with no real reason other than
why are you against ICE deporting people? These people are here illegally. I'm gonna let you in on something. I genuinely do not give a fuck if somebody is here without documentation. Like, maybe that's a hot take. If that's their only crime, it's a victimless crime. If they are just here because they have family here and they want to make a better life for themselves, they should be put on a path to citizenship. That is the appropriate solution, and there is no practical benefit to anybody's lives in spending an exorbitant amount of resources in finding and violently deporting people who just want to contribute. The people who support these violent ICE raids and deportations just want to uphold some warped view they have of
Why are they
maintaining order
violent?
against these foreign invaders. It is not built on any sort of rational or humane policy basis. Like, genuinely, the solution to somebody not having the appropriate documentation and paperwork is to get them the appropriate documentation and paperwork. The ideology that justifies these grotesque ICE raids is at its core sadistic and wanting to inflict a punitive punishment on such a vulnerable population. Why are you against ICE deporting people? These people are here.
Such a
All
crazy.
these,
illegal alien being a
it's not a victimless crime.
It's all just disingenuous bullshit.
I'm not saying they're gay, but they've seen a wiener up real close.
Yeah, they virtue
LA
signal
protesters are
everything.
winning against ICE, so LAPD authorized the
Is
use
that
of
Carmelo
military
Anthony?
ammunition.
What do you mean ammunition?
Hold on, man. You
LAPD
gotta.
says they're
You gotta
unable to say, but so far, flashbangs, military grade. LA protesters are winning against ICE, so LAPD authorized the use of military ammunition.
What do you mean ammunition?
LAPD says they're unable to say, but so far, flashbangs, military-grade tear gas, as well as the ability to strike and push protesters. Then Pete Hegseth ordered the Marines to deploy to LA and said they're preparing to leave as we speak.
In what world do we send Marines to intimidate the U.S. citizens we protect?
They shouldn't be protesting! So far, 300 National Guards are deployed to LA, and Trump said he's going to send 1,700 more. So Gavin Newsom sent a letter to Trump demanding he order the National Guard out of LA. And this is the first time a president called for the National Guard without a state's consent since 1965.
And what did Trump say?
Trump said Democrats are incapable and that his administration will solve the problem, which is rioters and looters who will be handled the way they should be handled. And then immediately put in the order for 2,000 National Guards to deploy at that moment. I'm glad this is happening!
When intimidation tactics don't work on U.S. citizens, the answer isn't more intimidation.
What is it then?
This is the result of poor leadership.
But this has been going on for 3 days. We have to do something.
Poor leadership by the state of California.
Protesters, which is stopping ICE raids. And now their backup can't arrive. ICE officials declared freeway protesters unlawful, meaning force can be used against them and they can be arrested. But that didn't stop the protesters, and they're still doing it anyway. It's obvious these protesters are the problem.
But what if the problem isn't the protests and the problems are the raids?
Did you not hear Trump in 2020 when the looting charts, the student chart, the student martial law 2025?
TikTok is so gay.
This guy's just arguing against a straw man in his head. Like, this, people watch this shit.
Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck ICE. Fuck anybody in the U.S. military who claims to be protecting the freedoms of U.S. citizens while impeding on their rights. If you don't know what's happening, people have been protesting ICE raids, and things are reaching a boiling point in Los Angeles right now. Let's talk about why people are protesting ICE first, because it's important to talk about why
We need to control the narrative here, because if we don't, then Donald Trump's people are just going to label this as domestic terrorism and riots and looting and then whatever the fuck else to take eyes away from what is actually happening and why people are doing this. Number one, ICE has
which
been
is
deporting
riots
people
and
without
looting.
due process. I'm saying people, not immigrants here, because they've deported U.S. citizens as well. When I say any U.S. citizen, I mean any. Like, they'll find a 4-year-old with cancer and deport their ass and not let them take their medication with them. They are separating kids from families. Real evil shit they are doing. Also, they have expedited the deportation process, which is not allowing people to file appeals. It's not allowing people to contest these deportations. Number two, these ICE detention centers, borderline concentration camps. The living conditions are inexcusable. People are being detained without committing a crime, and they're breaking apart families. ICE has been pulling up to schools, churches, and hospitals. They've been using intimidation tactics. They've been pulling up to sanctuary cities where it is against the local legislation.
I'm not going to lie. Democrats had the right where they wanted them. Everybody was talking about Elon Musk versus Trump. But now the attention has shifted yet again to the ICE riots in Los Angeles. Now, I don't understand. How are you an illegal immigrant in this country unlawfully, but you feel bold enough to go out and assault law enforcement officers, to throw rocks at their vehicles, to set intentional fires, and think there will be no consequences? Why are you out here waving the flag of the country you supposedly fled from while tearing up the country you are squatting in the first place? It's shocking seeing the scenes coming out of LA. Law and order will be restored. Make no mistake. Doesn't matter if you like something or not. What matters is enforcing the rule of law and keeping individuals safe. Now attention is right back on illegal immigration, as it well should be. And there should be some consequences for these scenes coming out of LA. So I'm hoping that the ICE agents stay safe and that we're able to bring an end to this era of American history where the left is bold enough to riot at a moment's notice the minute they don't get their way. Those are my thoughts, and I'm curious what yours might be.
Reasonable Subman,
Democrats
walking
had
through the
right
neighborhood.
where they wanted them. Everybody was talking about Elon Musk.
You guys, we are live. There are reports that the ICE raids that happened in Los Angeles yesterday are going to continue in Los Angeles for the next 30 days, so everyone needs to be prepared. First off, if you see an ICE raid or you see ICE agents at all trying to detain anyone or knocking on people's doors, depending on what neighborhood of Los Angeles you're in, you need to call one of these numbers immediately so that a rapid response network of people can be deployed to that area in order to stop, block ICE, and help the people that they're trying to detain. Or at the very least, call this main number, which is the ACLU's Rapid Response Network. And for the people in the Asian community, just remember, this
We're
goes for all
basically
of us
trying
as
to
well. If
impede
agents are
federal
at
law
your
enforcement.
door, whatever you do, do
This is
not
not going to end
open
well.
the door. And if they say they have a warrant, tell them to show it to you by sliding you a copy under the door. Because if that warrant looks like this, where it states that it's from Immigration and Customs Enforcement, as well as the signatures on the bottom right, do not include one, the main first one being from a judge, from a court-ordered judge, then this is not an actionable warrant. Only a warrant that looks like this, that comes from the United States court system, that says that it's a search and seizure
The
warrant,
fuck is this guy
that is
talking
signed
about?
by an actual court judge, is an actionable warrant. And because they don't have court-ordered actionable warrants like this one, that's the reason why these ICE agents have to revert to trying to get people in public spaces, which is why when they claim that they have a warrant and you open their door, then it kind of allows them to be able to grab you and say that they caught you in public. And remember, if you see something, say something, because we're all in this together. Thank you, and please stay safe. There are reports that the ICE raids that happened in Los Angeles yesterday are going to continue in Los Angeles for the next 30 days, so everyone needs to be prepared. First off, if you see an ICE raid or you see ICE agents at all trying to detain anyone or knocking on
There you
people's
go.
doors.
I hate to break it to you guys, but you're not starting a revolution
Tiger
by throwing
okay.
blocks of cement at ICE agents while they're driving, and while also blocking a federal bus on the 101 freeway in LA.
Nobody is trying to start a revolution by doing these things. What the people of Los Angeles are doing is trying to prevent kidnappings. Because let's call it what it is.
That's the word they use, kidnapping.
To you guys, but
Is every guy on TikTok a faggot? Like it's like
starting
all
a
of them are
revolution, and
faggots.
while also us on the 101 freeway in LA.
Nobody is trying to start a
These
revolution.
are the same people that
Conservatives normally use social media like liberals do.
Kidnappings. Because let's call it what it is.
These are the
This is
same
some
fools
serious
that get
illegal
pulled
labor.
over. I don't
And
need
how
to show you
strict
my
are the
ID.
codes
I
to
know
cover
my
their
rights.
faces? These people
No, you
present
don't.
no badges.
You
They
really
show
don't.
them a
You're
piece of
stupid.
paper and try to escort them out of the
Well,
building by force.
conservatives
While
are
wearing uniforms,
doing
they
other
applaud every
things and they
citizen's
don't
behavior.
have this preachy
Everybody's covering their
mindset. They just want to
face.
be left
Police
alone.
are
But liberals love to preach and try to own people and talk down to people. It's a different personality type.
Do you see what I mean though? With there's no such thing as a model minority.
I don't think there is. I never said that. I think that gliders have um, the modern glider. Say you're a glider and you're born like after like what 1950. Like you already like were born into a world where you were taught to cuck yourself from day one and to be cucked. So it's like that's the world you were born into. It's just like if I was born in 1800s, I would be a slave just from the if I was in America or anywhere, yeah, anywhere in the world, I would be a slave. But this is just the world you were born into, and you guys are just continuing that process. I mean, you're just continuing the the destruction
The
of
Jewish system. There you go.
your society. Well,
Okay, but hold on. I was referring to that Asian guy in the last clip.
yeah, that Asian guy. But here's the thing: that Asian guy in the last clip, like I said, your people used to fight them tooth and nail. The Korean War, Vietnam, fucking World War II. Like it was a period of time where whites were fighting Asians like cats and dogs. So it's like, you know what I mean? Somewhere you guys went. Maybe it was Vietnam where the Vietnam is where you went soft on Asians, and now they're coming back too. They're coming back. They're coming back for your neck, and you know, it is what it is. Asians are naturally gonna be uh want to be the top dog. They're not like they can actually hold the throne. They're your biggest threat, really. You know what I mean? Because they can hold the throne, even though it won't be like this, and the society won't be as great. At some point, everything will stagnate and level off. You know what I mean, and just stay the same for like eons. But they can hold it together. They can hold it down. The other groups can't hold it down.
Yeah,
You
and I
know?
mean that's why I don't get. I feel like half the gliders on here still like have the cuck mindset because like they will bring up Patels and Tigers being higher educated or blah blah blah, but it's like no, like they're like that Asian man and Wicked are they're the same. There's no difference between them. They're both here to unapologetically replace the glider. So it's like I don't care if the tiger commits less crime or whatever. I just like they're not from my tree of life. Like they're not my people. They're aliens.
Mm.
So I can't have them here. But most gliders, I think, still kind of go with like the GDP argument.
Mm. Wow, excellent, man. Uh,
Okay, let's get ready for the game because I finally have some time. All right, let's do this. We don't have that long.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not saying products, just
Get off my street. Think that. All right. Let's see. Who's
She was
this?
about to drop some knowledge, Ock.
R5D4 Abby says, pay $10,000 for citizenship rescinding to non felons. A lot of these illegal burritos gotta go to 5-year bid for all. Then deport if illegal. Stop the BS. Do you guys agree? Well, I think that's being very greedy. The thing right now, you just got to get rid of the illegal ones. But yeah, I think you just want to stop letting them in. I don't know if you can get rid of the legal ones. Legal ones are here, man.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we were talking about at the beginning of the show. Like 1 million here, 2 million there. They make the argument that it'll help, but it obviously won't.
Man.
Or we could just be assholes, take the 10 grand and give them the boot anyway.
Yeah. Scallywag 'em.
Let's see. Salute everyone. Hit the like button. Support the channel. Says a social justice female prosecutor with the DUI didn't charge a black woman with felony because she agreed to give a donation to a shelter. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say liberal women are corrupt and really a problem to Vermont. Damn. Vermont. Oh shit. Fuck. Right. So seems the timeline is like this. ICE shows up to get some actual bad guys. Mexicans decide this is not good and start protesting. Skinny white guys then go next level and start wrecking shit and fighting cops. Then the blacks start looting. Seems about right.
That's the recipe.
Oof. I needed that. I needed to hear that.
Jeez. Damn.
Good night, LA.
Spam that. He spam that. The older I get, the more money I make, the less I care about politics. Who gives a fuck about Israel, Mexico, blacks, whites, ICE? Make your money, shut the fuck up. Yes, Jews use blacks to destroy America.
Yeah, nice you found my account. Thank you.
I was going to say, is Fish Kim Jong Iceman?
The Hart-Celler Act didn't have that much to do with ruining race relationships with whites and blacks. The Civil Rights Act of '65 ruined race relations. I think it happened. I think race relations was pretty good, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. You had fucking Rodney King and OJ and shit, but
There was a sweet spot.
Before Obama?
Yeah, and the internet. Obama coincides with the rise of the internet, and he used the internet, to fan the flames. Like once, like now you have black people that you can see what black people talk about. Like you see, the internet has given you a window into black people's conversations in their minds, and they're very racist, very very racist, extremely racist.
Of course, they're gonna say we don't have power and privilege, so we can't be racist. You know how they are.
Yeah, but I know how to do that old bullshit. Blacks were displaced from many of their cities and neighborhoods by Hispanics and Hispanic gangs. They are on Team ICE.
Damn, they let the Hispanics beat them up like that? It wasn't just the gliders.
Yeah, I mean, Hispanic gangs. Uh, blacks don't do well against Hispanic gangs, no matter whether they're Puerto Rican, Dominican, fucking Mexican, El Salvadorian. Blacks don't do well in conflict with them. It's just not.
Do the numbers thing?
Never works out.
They prefer to fight amongst themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And attack innocent gliders.
Yeah,
And
fight gliders. They know that
Easy targets.
Gliders not gonna go all the way. Gliders not gonna go all the way with it. Gliders not gonna just pull out the fucking what I'm saying atom. I remember Wile E. Coyote versus the Road Runner. Oh, he always pulled out the big weapons and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like motherfucking that's the Glide is not going to do that with the blacks. But don't Burritos will. Burritos don't give a fuck. Yeah. Yeah, man. We're gonna cover this week, man. It's been a very informative show, man. Very, very informative show. I'm about to fall asleep, so instead of falling asleep on here, man, I'm gonna get out of here so we can have a good show tomorrow, man, and get some rest. Any final thoughts, guys?
I think that's a great idea, Hawk, and thank you.
Yeah, man.
Good night, everybody.
Same black time, same black channel. Subscribe.